It lives up to its expectation as referee Anthony Taylor gets us underway, and Germany go downfield immediately with a ball that is headed away by Lenormand. They are in all white, they're playing from left to right as we look. Spain defending the end where the majority of those red shirts higher in this Stuttgart arena. It holds 54,000. The top tier is suspended underneath the canopy-style roof. It's actually made of fabric. We've been sitting here and it is quite an oppressive heat in this arena in Stuttgart as Morata tries to link up with Williams coming in off this left touch line, and then there is Rudiger to Kimmich. The top scorers in the competition are Germany with 10. It's a joint national record, but Spain have been so dynamic as Williams plays a low ball in. Morata pulls it back, Pedri with a shot, left-footed, straight at Neuer.
Couple of touches already by Morata have been absolutely fantastic. They've come up to him, he's not able to hold it. His touch has been so good, he's laid it back into his midfield, and he's got three players running on there in the likes of Nico Williams, Jamal and Pedri that are going to go and hit anything. Just a moment before that, it's worth interesting to see there's something major going on off the field, off the ball, between Sane and Cucurella, and it happened in the first seconds. There have already been three coming together between those two players. We've only been playing a minute. I'll tell you what, this should be interesting. We'll see a little bit of a look at this again. First of all, there's a dive by Chan, which the referee told him he got up for, and in actual fact, Cucurella stayed down. And to be honest, not for the first time in this tournament, I have no idea why Cucurella stayed down.
Well, Cucurella went down holding his face.
No idea.
His face wasn't even touched.
No idea. To be honest, I mean, you need to call out players when they're doing that, throwing themselves to the ground in this tournament. He's went to the ground so easily there. Shan dived.
Yeah.
Full stop. He dived. Cucurella went over the top and pretended he'd been poleaxed in the face. Not touched. Keep an eye on him against Sanity. I think that'll be tasty.
That was a warning shot though by Spain. That Pedri effort was timed at 56 seconds.
Yeah, it's the way it played up to Morata. It's really suited to this style. You know, when he played in the English game, a lot of balls played up in the air to him. Now he's good at attacking balls from crosses, but balls just played up in the air. I mean, Tar and Rudiger are going to give him a tough time, but to feet, he's technically superb.
Ball from Fabian goes out of play, too far ahead of Cucurella. What a bumper weekend we have for you on BBC Radio 5 Live. The Euros, all four of the quarter-finals. Wimbledon, the Rugby Union Test match tomorrow morning. New Zealand against England, kick-off at 8:05. The British Grand Prix, all on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. As Gundogan tries to touch the ball into the path of Sane on this right-hand side. Lenormand turns and puts it out of play for a German throw. 0-0 in the early stages, 3 minutes played. Sun shining, and those Spanish supporters away towards our right are having to shield the sun from their eyes behind the goal of Unai Simon. As Kimmich with a throw to Sane down the line, back towards Kimmich. Sane tries to take it, shrugs off the challenge of Cucurella. Rodri, Kroos taking out Pedri. Anthony Taylor comes under pressure from both sets of players. He tells them to move away, but Pedri was caught.
You'd be stunned. I don't think he's going to bring his yellow card out there, and I'm amazed by that, because he completely mistimes it and he wipes him out completely. That is the clearest yellow card you're going to see. He's really wiped him out there, and I mean, he's down and he's not acting. He's been taken out with a really bad one. Might have a dead leg just above his knee. And Anthony Taylor, and he's not reached for his yellow card yet, and you just wonder sometimes with the home crowd, the biggest name, is there something in that, because anyone else, they reach for the card there, don't they?
Well, Luis de la Fuente, the 63-year-old head coach of Spain, is having to be appeased by Ivan Krusliak, the Slovakian, who's the fourth official. Now, he takes no nonsense. You might recall he took charge of an Aston Villa tie in Europe. I think it was at Lille. And all the Spanish substitutes are saying that the gesturing wears the card. And Krusliak has told them to sit down and be quiet. Pedri will certainly have a dead leg, because he was taken out
really high. It was so high. I mean, it's quite... I'm not suggesting that it was deliberate. I actually don't think it was particularly deliberate, but it was dangerous. And he left his leg kind of hanging there, and it just wiped him out. So, the referee's got a decision to make now. What if there's another one just the same as that? Is he going to let that go?
No action taken by Anthony Taylor. Pedri is back on the field of play. You're listening to 5 Live, 5 minutes played. Rodri clips the ball long, up towards Williams, near side the left. Takes it on the inside of Kimmich, rolls it towards Rodri. He was fouled, and on this occasion, referee Anthony Taylor blows his whistle, gives Spain the free kick. You can hear what the German supporters think about that decision. And now it's taken quickly by Spain. Out to Lamine Yamal, this exciting teenager. Skips inside one challenge, passes the ball in field. He's gone down saying he was fouled. There's a little bit of niggle already creeping into this game 6 minutes in.
It's a very hard game to referee because it's so tight, because players have been pressed all over the field, and there's a lot of tackles going in. And another player down holding his face this time.
Pedri can't continue.
And you have a look at the bench, the Spanish bench, they're absolutely fuming at this. And to be fair, I mean it looked really, really rough. I mean, I am totally stunned that initial one wasn't a yellow card. He's tried to run it off here, but I'm trying to see if he's actually got anything else he's hit. But and I tell you what, that's Jamal been done there. He says his foot stood on. Again, not saying it's deliberate, but you know, there's referees that they'll get their cards out for that as well. So Pedri's down again.
Danny Olmo is going to be coming on. There was a lot of speculation leading up to this game that he should have replaced Pedri. He retained his place, did the youngster from Barcelona, but he's the victim of a heavy challenge by Toni Kroos. He's tried to shrug it off, and then he's gone down and he's sitting down, and he's going to have to come off the field of play.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, and every referee will deny this completely. But you kind of come out with a game plan if you're a ref as well. You don't want to get a yellow card early on. You want to calm the game down a little. You also want to let it flow a little bit. But there's sometimes you need to make a decision early, and I'm just not convinced he got that one right. And the players are now angry. They're getting a little bit tetchy about it as well. You may well have lost a player off the field. And I do have a suspicion that maybe if it wasn't Toni Kroos, if it had been somebody else, the temptation would have got the yellow card out.
Well, Pedri is on his feet, but he's hobbling badly. And 7 minutes into this contest here in Stuttgart, he is going to be replaced. The family and friends of each of the sides competing in this tournament tend to sit just behind the dugouts, and that small pocket of red down beneath us here behind the Spanish bench are all rising to their feet and giving Pedri a standing ovation as he does struggle. At least he can walk, but he's hobbling quite badly. He's embraced now by Danny Olmo, who of course plays his football in Germany for Leipzig. They finished 4th in the Bundesliga this year. And Danny Olmo comes on to replace Pedri, but Pedri is now being consoled by his substitutes, his teammates in the green bibs, as he makes his way back onto the bench. So Germany give the ball back to Spain. Sportingly, Chan chips it long downfield to Unai Simon, and after that lengthy stoppage here in the sunshine in Stuttgart, 5 Live and BBC Sounds, we're back underway at 0-0.
There's been a bit of stop-start, obviously, but what I was wanting to see at the start of the game is whether the Germans would be as offensive, or would they sit off slightly, because you know the Spanish are not going to do that. The Germans are. They're trying to stand up to them punch for punch, and I don't mean a physical, violent way. I mean they want to attack as much as they can as well. But let's hope there's a little bit more flow to the game now, and less free kicks than there's been so far.
Certainly a stop-start nature to the proceedings here in Stuttgart. Rudiger, when you see Spain in the flesh, the one thing that has really struck me is their work rate off the ball. Here is Williams. A couple of occasions the other day against Georgia in Cologne, they had 4 red shirts snuffing out potential Georgian counter-attacks. And Germany being pressed by Fabian. Rudiger to Kimmich, with Williams putting him under pressure, cleared long by Rudiger, up towards Sane, bounces in field. Yamal clips it first time. Morata will give chase, and that ball is going to go to play, and it will be a Spain throw on this near side in front of their bald-headed coach De La Fuente. Very, very smart, suave and sophisticated, with his crew neck t-shirt and his suit jacket, and of course he's wearing the customary black and white pumps, as the referee Anthony Taylor will say this will be a free kick to Germany.
It was an offside, yeah, it was an offside just before that in the build-up. But it's funny that, because it did start very, very quickly, but because of those niggly fouls, and purely because each player was closing everybody else down very quickly. It's kind of not got into its rhythm yet, but you can see the Spanish, they are so high up the field, they really want to press on them.
Ball played out by Tar. Musiala on the stretch, couldn't get there on the halfway line, picked up by Gundogan. He's got Raum going on ahead of him. Diagonal ball in field will reach Havertz. Sane in fact takes over. There is Havertz, plays it back out towards Raum. Raum drives it left from that left-footed and into the arms of Unai Simon, who bowls it out straight away towards Williams. Rudiger though stepped out of defence and had it covered, and all of a sudden Germany now being urged on. They're inside the Spanish half, but that ball out towards Raum was unable to be controlled, and it's gone out of play for a throw. 0-0, Pat Nevin.
Nico Williams has been brilliant in this tournament so far on the left wing for the Spanish, but his goalkeeper saw no shot there, gave him a 50-50 with Tony Rudiger, and nobody wants that generally, but you don't want it early in a game anyway. So Rudiger won the ball there, but both teams want to close down. There was a moment just before there, Havertz was on the turn, and that little turn they had the other night, which was one of the best I've seen in the tournament so far, he tried that one again, didn't quite come off the same way.
Here is Williams for Spain on this near side, the left. Cucurella just over the halfway line. Laporte, Fabian plays it first time. Cucurella back in field now to the midfielder from Paris Saint-Germain. Charm will go towards him, just strokes it back to Lenormand. Carvajal is out wide over on that far side. Carvajal patiently playing it across the back. Are Spain here in Stuttgart 5 live. Still goalless between the two, as Lenormand edging his way slowly but surely towards the halfway line. The Wimbledon coverage continues on Sports Extra, as here is Fabian to Williams. Cucurella coming forward on the near side. Williams goes it alone, right-footed, and dragged it well off target, and that will be a goal kick. 0-0.
There are some players that are just that much more special when you see them in the flesh, and Fabian's vision is absolutely fantastic. I mean, he's getting close to some of those greats in the last 10-20 years ago. And there's another stoppage in play here, isn't it? You're absolutely right, it's getting a bit niggly. Is that Nico Williams having a little bit with Kimmich?
Yep.
It's happening off the ball, so it's hard to see. And he's just left his body there while Kimmich has kind of kicked through it. Yeah, it's a foul. It's nothing vicious, it's nothing really bad, but they're kind of sorting each other out early on. A little bit of physicality, letting each other know they're there. Very old school in many ways.
Again, no action taken from Anthony Taylor. Later on tonight, we've got the next quarter-final for you live from Hamburg. Portugal against France. As Gundogan is caught in possession by Lamine Yamal, his Barcelona teammate. Morata plays it inside. Olmo trying to get through. Olmo taken out by Rudiger. Rudiger's on a yellow card, incidentally. If he gets shown here, he will miss the semi-final should Germany progress. And indeed, the Real Madrid defender will be ruled out of any last four appearance. Shown a yellow, the first yellow card of the game by Anthony Taylor. Rudiger suspended for the semi-final.
Well, that's a big moment for Germany. You can hear the sound as a murmur around the stadium. They're worried about the free kick he's given away, which is only 20 yards out, very dangerous position, but everyone in here knows that Rudiger's going to miss the next game if they get through. And how similar was it to the tackle that Toni Kroos wasn't booked for?
Yes.
As I said, some people get booked for some tackles. The same tackle, some others get away with it.
The imposing, aggressive central defender of Anthony Rudiger will be missing the semi-final. Now, this is a free kick for Spain. Direct free kick, right of the D. Is it Olmo off the right foot or the left foot of Lamine Yamal? The youngest ever player in the history of the European Championship. Germany have got every white shirt back inside the penalty area. It's Olmo, he leaves it for Yamal, strikes it, takes the deflection off target, and it will go out for a goal kick. 0-0.
He's went below the wall, expecting a jump. They haven't got the player below the wall, so he's waiting for them to jump. They do jump, but he doesn't quite get it on target. He's not lacking in confidence for a 16-year-old, is he?
No.
It's pretty impressive. He's actually started beautifully in this game. He glides past players so fabulously.
He's 16 years and 358 days old. As Gundogan makes ground on that far side, the left. Havertz and Sane are up with him. He finds Sane, central position outside the D, touches the ball to Kroos. He was caught late from behind. Williams brings the ball away. Germany protest. Spanish counter-attack. Yamal over the halfway line. Olmo, Morata's peeled out to this left-hand side. Thought Olmo would overrun that ball. He just finds Morata. Morata shoots. That's charged down by Chan. And then it rebounds up towards the halfway line. Laporte with a flick with his leg, headed on by Rodri. 15 minutes played, still 0-0, live on 5 Live on BBC Sounds.
But the most notable difference between the teams is when the Spanish players run with the ball, the Germans can't get near them. They're just flying by them. So you're seeing these tackles get flying. As I say it, Ram tries to get into Yamal there, and they're doing everything to stop him now. They're very, very worried about the dribbling from the Spanish.
Havertz, Musiala, who's been quiet, collects the ball, goes out to the left touchline, midway through the Spain half. Raum on the overlap, he finds him left-hand side, looks for the cutback, and with a couple of deflections, it's scooped up inside his 6-yard area by Unai Simon. 16 minutes played, 0-0.
You know, it's always really good when you see wingers playing. I would say that, but Sané, Musiala, Nico Williams, who's looked really lively, and Yamal as well, who's probably been the pick of them so far in this game.
Here is Yamal on that right-hand side. Fabian finds some space, looks for a shooting opportunity. Left-footed, couldn't keep it down, just outside the D, off target.
I don't think he should shoot there. I know he's 20 yards out, and he's actually scored in the tournament so far, but there is an overlap outside him to his left. Morata's looking at him as to say, well, just pass to me and it's 2-on-1. I've got Nico Williams wide of me here. We'll be through in the goalkeeper. But he got a little bit carried away there, Fabian, and put it over the crossbar.
So if you were to judge this game in quarters, we've been playing for 16 and a half minutes, you'd give the first quarter to Spain.
So far, yeah. Not quite the full quarter of the game gone yet, but Spain at the moment look the more dangerous. That's not to say that there aren't dangers. And we've not seen Musiala run at his defender yet, and he's up against Carvajal. He's got a few years in him, you know, he's got the pace of him, but many players have the pace of Carvajal and don't get much out of him.
Here is Rudiger. He wants Kimmich to go a little bit further forward on this near side, the right. Kimmich midway through the Spain half. All in white, remember Germany. Now in field to Chan, former Liverpool midfielder. Gundogan is just ahead of him. Back to Kroos, in between the two central defenders. Havertz comes deep in the shadows of the main stand here in the Stuttgart arena as the German support create a bit noise inside this 54,000 capacity arena. Kroos waits, Rudiger is to the side of him. Spain have got everybody back inside their own half. Morata tries to close down Kroos to Jonathan Tah. Kroos now takes over with the outside of his right boot, spreads it out towards the left back. Raum got a couple of touches to take it forward, and into the sunshine now he is with Musiala. Musiala on that left touchline, back towards Gundogan. Nice gentle pace though by Germany. Kroos looking to dictate. Tah, Havertz again, just dropping off the two central defenders a little bit, not necessarily playing on their shoulder. There's Kimmich to Sané, low ball into the box, stretching to keep it from going behind was Laporte. He concedes a throw though, 10 yards up from the corner flag, near side the right, that Kimmich will take quickly. Rudiger, back with Jonathan Tah. Sustained spell of pressure from Germany, probably the first time that they've actually had that. Offside against Kimmich on this near side.
Unusual. The assistant referee gets his flag up very, very early. They don't generally do that. He seemed very confident because the player was right beside him, and I think he's spot on with that one. So I'm not going to complain about that. But it's as if the Germans have started, you know, play really quick at the beginning, see how the Spanish can cope with it. And it's kind of, oh, actually, that's not a good idea. We better control this more. And you can see the Germans saying, no, let's control the game, get the ball to Chan and Kroos, particularly in that central midfield area, and build it up slowly. Whereas the Spanish, they love to lift the tempo.
Germany lost the first meeting to Spain on German soil back in 1935 in Cologne. They've been unbeaten in their last 9 since, as this is the 4th meeting between the two at the Euros. Spain, who really came through a tough group, Group B winners, navigating their way past Croatia, Italy and Albania. The only side, of course, with a 100% winning record in this competition. As Kimmich floats it forward, headed away by Lenormand, edge of the area, Rodri trying to get away from Sané. Musiala's there, Cham stabs it back to Tah, and Raum On that far side, back with Tar once again, his forward ball to Musiala, just had to accelerate away from Lamine Yamal, keeps the ball though for Germany, and now it's with Kroos and Chan. There's a man over on that far side, it's David Raum, but Gundogan spins, and Kimmich is joining the attack on this near side to right, and his diagonal ball along the ground finds him, and Kimmich chips the ball into the penalty area, and Havertz with a header, saved by Unai Simon.
I mean, he got up really well there. He pulls it down as much as he possibly can, but there is no power on the cross. He's given it everything. He's turned his head. He's caught it perfectly, but because it's a floated cross and he cannot get enough on it, and it's an easy one for Sinan to deal with. But the first and best chance so far for the Germans.
It remains 0-0. Ball goes direct from Simon down to Dani Olmo, who at the minute is playing Olmo through the middle, because Lamine Yamal has gone out to the right. Morata is at the moment to the left, and Williams has actually gone into a much more deeper role, Nico Williams, for the time being. It remains 0-0 here in Stuttgart, 21 minutes played. Rodri wins the ball in the midfield. Fabian will play it back to Lenormand. Let's get another update from Wimbledon. Ian Carter.
Carlos Alcaraz, the defending champion, in cruise control now, eventually. 3 hours 42 minutes on the clock, but he's leading now with 2 breaks of serve in the deciding set against France's TFO by 4 games to 1 here.
Thank you, Ian. Commentary continues on Sports Extra as Simon just puts his foot on the ball a couple of times, hits it right-footed, again looking for that ball down the middle. Rudiger, who remember will miss the semi-final should Germany go through after that yellow card after 13 minutes, back then to Neuer, who is today making a little bit of German history. He's the top appearance maker for Germany in major tournaments with his 39th appearance, beating the record set he held jointly by Bastian Schweinsteiger. Only Ronaldo has actually played more games in major tournaments than Manuel Neuer. Manuel Neuer, what a servant he has been over the years. 38 now. There's the German support behind him in that goal. Jump up and down in unison as Laporte drills one in from 25 yards out, left-footed, saved at the second attempt. It remains goalless.
Saved at the second attempt. I remember seeing that somewhere else quite recently in the Champions League semi-final. Neuer made a mistake, but that time he managed to recover it a little bit. Intriguing the way it's gone here. You know, it is trying to be controlled by the Germans, but you're looking out there, and if you're Spain, you're thinking, Kimmich, brilliant player, but not blessed with a huge amount of pace anymore. He's getting on a little bit. Ram, good fullback, but again, not absolute lightning pace. And you look at the pace that's out wide for that Spanish team. They've got to give those wingers a little bit more of the ball further up the field.
You can see, though, there is a respect between the two sides, isn't there?
Absolutely. Funny, because they understandably they got a bit excited at the start of the game, and tackles were flying in. It was about 100 miles an hour stuff. It has settled a little bit now, and they're maybe slightly over respectful for the last 3 or 4 minutes.
Here is Rudiger, short of the halfway line. Raum is just starting to go off on a run on that far side. Every time he goes forward, he takes Lamine Yamal back with him as the move breaks down on this near side. A ball towards Kimmich, too far ahead of him. It'll be a Spain throw midway through their own half. You look actually at the last 4 meetings at major tournaments. Spain have won 2, they've drawn 2, but only 6 goals scored between them. So I guess maybe it was always going to be a tight contest here as Sané gets momentarily away from Cucurella. Kimmich helps out, Morata is back, leans into Kimmich. That was a foul, and it will be a free kick to Germany just in from the right touchline on this near side.
Centre forward's tackle there. It's no use at all. He's just shoved him off. Kimmich knows what he's doing. He's puts his body in the way. But to give a free kick away when Kimmich's going nowhere, he's just going into the corner. Silly free kick to give away when you consider the power of Tar, Rudiger, Havertz in the middle there. He's got a great chance to put it in from a dangerous area here.
And those players that Pass has mentioned, along with Gundogan, are lurking as 4 white shirts inside the penalty area. Spain have every red shirt back inside the box. Anthony Taylor, the English referee, is just having a word with Jonathan Tah. There is an air of expectation and anticipation here inside the Stuttgart arena. It's Kroos with the delivery, right-footed. Rudiger climbs, as does Tah, and then that header just drops down off Tah and is picked up and then lobbed out by the right hand of Unai Simon, and Williams is adjudged to a foul David Raum, and that will be another free kick to Germany midway through the Spain half.
Very, very strange throw, wasn't it? I think he was caught in two minds as he threw the ball out there, but what they wanted to is when they get the ball from deep, the Spanish, they know that their wide players have got better pace than their opponents, with the exception of Rudiger, who's central. So he's trying to get out to those wide areas, but quite simply the ball wasn't on there.
So this free kick must be 15 yards into the Spain half, 10 yards in from the left touchline on that far side. Kroos eventually is going to place the ball down, just spins it, takes a couple of steps back. Quite a high line though this from Spain with their red shirts, just outside the deep, so there's a lot of protection there for Unai Simon. As it goes deep, Laporte stretching, does it touch his head? Yes it does. It'll be a corner kick to Germany.
They're very good with their corner kicks and their free kicks, the Germans. Very noticeable in the last game, they scored one. It was chopped off because of a very, very obvious block. But on that occasion, I kept an eye on Rudiger. He must have made a 30-yard run, knowing exactly where the ball was going to end up. And he was unlucky not to get in the end of it, but they have got a corner.
So this should be an out-swinging corner from Toni Kroos on this near side, the right. Rudiger is trying to get away from Lenormand. The referee's got to split the two of them for the time being. Havertz, Tah, Can are all lurking. Inside the 6-yard box, you've got Gundogan in there, Kimmich in there too. In it comes now. Tah tries to get on the end of it. Can heads it goalwards. And Unai Simon, after stumbling over a couple of German players, literally takes it off the head of Gundogan and throws it out. And now it's with Fabian for Spain. Waits for the supporting run of Cucurella to his left. Trots his way towards the halfway line. 27 minutes played. Rodri, he passes the ball forward. Williams is onto it. Sane's the one who backpedals. Williams goes on the outside, chips the ball to the far post, and Raum should clear this with Lamine Yamal in pursuit. Carvajal with the interception, and then he was chopped from behind, and it'll be a free kick to Spain, and Anthony Taylor is going to show another yellow card.
And correct again, absolutely. The Germans have been it's getting positively roughhouse tactics now. They're going into these tackles, and if you don't win the ball, you're not allowed to keep on going through, and he's going straight through him there. Actually, it's one of those ones, I just don't think his feet are quick enough. He's tried to get the man, and he just wiped out Carvajal there, and he's not going to stand on his feet. Just before that, Nico Williams gets his first opportunity to run at a defender in the final third. Effortless, gets to the byline, and after a 5, 6, 7 minute good period for the Germans, they're under pressure again.
Raum then shown a yellow card, the second German player to be booked by Anthony Taylor. Free kick to Spain, level with the penalty area far side to right. 28 minutes played, still goalless. Yamal threatens to take it, leaves it for Williams. It's curling in now, up towards Rodri, headed away by Kroos, only as far as Olmo. He's then tried to hit it, and he's missed it, and by actually catching Gundogan in the process. Gundogan's hobbling, he's back on his feet, tries to stamp off the effects of that challenge. It'll be a free kick to Germany.
Yeah, I think the referee's got that one right. Gets a little bit of the ball and almost just he doesn't see the tackle coming in. So it's a free kick, absolutely nothing more than that.
Well, you consider that Pedri had a low shot for Spain after 56 seconds. He's since left the field through an injury to be replaced by Olmo. And Neuer is saved from Laporte's low drive. Simon's saved from a Havertz header. And that's been about it as we approach the half-hour mark. Ball goes astray. Gundogan onto it. Then he was caught by Lenormand. Lenormand could be in trouble here, because if he's shown a yellow card, he'll be suspended, and there it is. The first Spanish player to get a booking, and like Rudiger, the central defender for Spain, if Spain progress, will be banned for the semi-final.
Awful decision. Terrible decision. He's just come up close to him, behind him, and he's thrown himself to the ground there. At the very, very most, a free kick. And he's just going to play a player out a possibility of semi-final for that. That's a very poor decision.
0-0. 15 minutes to go to half-time. Kroos, Kimmich passes the ball back to the halfway line for Jonathan Tah, this tall central defender who won the title for Bayer Leverkusen in their sensational season that they had here. Back with Tah once again. just coming back from a ban, so he missed that last 16 encounter against Denmark. As the ball is forward, and now with Tar out towards that far side, and they're building. Raum on the left-hand side, closed down by Carvajal, gets away, edge of the area, Chan to the edge of the box. Chan loses his balance. Spain can't keep the ball, played back by Tar. Sane, right corner of the box, headed away by Carvajal. It's a throw to Germany, which Kimmich will take quickly. They try and keep that momentum going with 14 minutes to go to half-time. Kimmich on this near side, Havertz waits. Kimmich passes the ball infield. Tar, forward of the centre circle. Back with Rudiger once again. Spain just trying to keep that high line as Sane. Back by the buoyant German support. Kimmich, though, held up by Fabian. Towards Kroos. They're trying to prize their way past this Spanish side. Tar steps forward of the centre circle. Gets the ball back by Chan. Passes it now to Gundogan. Gundogan to Musiala. And now all of a sudden there's a break on for Spain. Lamine Yamal over on that far side. He's over the halfway line and then he's fouled. Let's get an update from Ian Carter at Wimbledon.
Carlos Alcaraz safely through, the defending champion, coming through a 5-setter, 3 3/4 hours on court against France's Tiafoe. But in the end, he did it 5-7, 6-2, 4-6, 7-6, 6-2. Next up on centre, Emma Raducanu.
Regular updates here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. The tennis coverage continues on Sports Extra. Chan was not booked for that challenge on Lamine Yamal.
Yeah, it's getting a wee bit bizarre. I don't think Anthony's having his best day out there. How he can book for Lenormand for what he done and then not book Chan for that is utterly beyond me. Utterly beyond me. It seems really strange. If you're Spanish just now watching this, you'll be very confused and very angry.
The sun continues to shine in Stuttgart. It remains 0-0 with 12 minutes to go to half-time. Very cagey affair here as Lenormand, Carvajal on the halfway line, pushes the ball past Musiala. Raum, though, quickly dealt with it, wins the ball back for Germany. Carvajal, though, chases and hassles and harries his Real Madrid teammate, Anthony Rudiger. But they try and beat the press from Spain, keeping the ball at the back. Kroos, of course, an integral part, once again, just linking up the play. Rudiger to Kimmich, held up by Williams, and then just strokes it back. Musiala's had a quiet game so far.
Just can't get onto the ball. I mean, if you're a away player, you need to get the ball in the final third, you know, preferably 1-on-1 at half a chance. You won't get that many opportunities, but you've got to take them, but he's not had one yet.
Morata, forward ball towards Olmo, sliding was Tar, and did just enough to see it back towards Neuer. There was just a glimpse of an opening maybe for Dani Olmo.
There's just something slightly more sprightly about the Spanish. They're a little bit sharper about the Spanish, and, you know, that's not to say that Germans are lumping, but they need to control this. They need to use their physicality, and they are doing so.
Here is Havertz, can't get past Rodri. Referee almost gets in the way. Havertz, though, with Chan. Kimmich, who'd gone into a roll in field on the edge of the area, now has to go out wide. Here is Kimmich, plays it in low. Simon wouldn't have counted. Flag was up on this near side, and it will be, well, in fact, the referee will just let play continue with it. Unai Simon with the ball at his hands, and it is still 0-0, just over 10 minutes to the break.
It was special play again by Havertz, wasn't it? He held it up so well. Everyone was coming through him there. He was almost playing as a 10. You know, he does that false 9 quite a lot himself. Lovely play, and Kimmich had just made the run a little bit too quickly.
We'll be hearing from Gareth Southgate a little later on, but all the latest from the England camp on the Football Daily podcast ahead of that quarter-final tomorrow in Dusseldorf, live on 5 Live and BBC Sounds from 5 o'clock, England against Switzerland. And indeed the Rugby Union Daily likewise ahead of New Zealand-England in the first test, which you can hear at 8:05 tomorrow morning on BBC Radio 5 Live. What a bumper day of live sport tomorrow. Rudiger goes long, searching ball. Havertz off his chest. Havertz with the shot, right-footed. Unai Simon with the save away to his right.
Movement's brilliant, isn't it? Havertz. It does exactly what a centre-forward should do. Runs wide, and as soon as he's slightly overcovered, he comes inside again and finds himself with a couple of yards there. Doesn't catch it clean, but that's 2 half-decent chances he's got himself with great movement. But it has to be said, not great finishing.
10 minutes to go to the break. The voice of Pat Nevin with us here in Stuttgart as Laporte gets away from Sane accelerates with Sane now running back at him, and Laporte has carried that ball midway through the Germany half. Morata plays it out towards Yamal. Yamal enters the penalty area. Yamal twisting and turning. I mean, in the end, he probably bamboozled himself to the 16-year-old. He's pushed off the ball by Raum. The German supporters like that. His clearance will be picked up by Cucurella inside the centre circle.
The defender loves that. You know, he's inside his box. He cannot dive in there. He just waits for the movement from the winger and Yamal. And he does run it too much, but he shouldn't get downhearted about that. He's looked dangerous.
Olmo finds Williams round the back, opens up for Williams, and Neuer makes the save at his near post. Flags up again.
Yeah, but they're coming so close, aren't they? Every time they play a ball wide, the Spanish, they look dangerous. That one was very, very tight indeed. The assistant referee's got it right most of the time up until now. Not so sure about that one. I think that's one you have definitely tried the lines. You could not tell by the naked eye.
What has Musiala then got to do to get more involved?
It's really hard though, because if you're playing in a system, you're asked, because most teams at the moment, if you're playing with wide players, you're told, get as wide as you can, stretch the game, develop the space. But if then no one passes you out there, you're stuffed. You'd like to come in looking for it, but if the system says you need to drag wide, you have no option. You need to do it until the ball comes to you. So far, him, and it has to be said, Sane as well, they've got very, very little ball in the last third.
Here is Cucurella. Certainly when you contrast that to Williams and Yamal.
Yeah, and they've got a little bit of space to run into. You know, the way that the Spanish are playing it, they play it so quick from back to front. It'll only be one or two passes, but it'll be done with such speed that, you know, they've got the space to run into. But as we're looking just now, look at the 40-50 yards between the back line of the Germans and the goalkeeper. That's great if you're a wide player with some pace to run into.
Still awaiting the first goal in this first of the quarter-finals. Morata reacted there to Jonathan Tah. I think he was just slightly caught on the back of the head and he didn't like it. Meanwhile, it's Chan who's gone down. Morata will just have a word with Anthony Taylor, but it's a free kick to Germany on the edge of their own centre circle.
And Morata better be very careful. He's not been very good towards the Spanish so far, the referee. I mean, they should actually have both. They should have Kroos and Chan should be both booked, but I definitely should both be booked. And if you've got two centre midfield players both on yellow cards against pacey players against them, that would be a real danger. And as it is, neither is booked.
Olmo, Fabian in the centre circle for Spain, plays it out wide. That mop of dark hair of Cucurella, who's held up by Sane, has to go back to Laporte. He can come forward over the halfway line for the red of Spain. Rebound, Fabian, first time ball, finds Williams. Cucurella has stayed out wide on the near side, links up with Williams. Left side of the penalty area now, 7 minutes to go to half time. Cucurella makes a darting run in from the left touchline. Williams though will run back in that space that Cucurella has vacated. Williams still hasn't delivered the cross. Sane is back with him. Williams waiting. Rodri helps out. Lenormand now forward of the centre circle, passes the ball out towards Fabian. Carvajal is on the inside of him, here he is, touches the ball back to Fabian. Spain now is just starting to see a little bit more of the ball. They've only had 48% possession in this first half, as the Spanish supporters with the olés, as Yamal, and those olés are being drowned out by the whistles now of the Germany support here in Stuttgart as the sun continues to shine. 6 minutes to go to the break. Williams keeps the ball in play, near side, up against Kimmich. Kimmich dives in and gets the challenge. Breaks towards Havertz. Kimmich's gone forward. Cucurella, though, easily dispossesses Havertz. Olmo now is going to shape to shoot. Spilt by Neuer, comes out to Morata. Can Morata get a sight of goal? No, held up by Rudiger. And then the rebound off the outstretched leg of Chan is picked up by Neuer.
It's a good hit, but it's Neuer's playing it back into the danger area again. Again, we'll talk about that. He did it with Bayern Munich, very famously against Real Madrid there. And this time, we've just seen it again, and Morata was offside for the rebound. But if you're a goalkeeper, and every goalkeeper tells me, when it's shot in, you parry it to the side, not straight back to the danger area.
Well, actually, Mamadashvili for Georgia did that with great effect the other night in Cologne with strong wrists, as the ball has gone behind the advertising hoardings, and it's taken a while for the ball boy or ball girl, it's so hard to see, we're that far away from the action in our commentary position here in the Stuttgart arena. But now, with that throw, Musiala finds Raum. Cut out by Lenormand. Lovely first touch by Olmo. Tar with the interception. There was Rodri. Spain have it back. 5 minutes to go to half-time, 0-0. Along the ground towards Williams. Kimmich was tight behind him. And Laporte, back in that central defensive area, squares it for his partner, Lenormand. Both of them French-born, Spanish internationals. 0-0, 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Wimbledon coverage continues on Sports Extra.
It is classically one of those games, Ian, that people want to take chances, but they only want to do it in the final third. And there is a fear factor, isn't there, when they're playing around at the back. No one's over-risking it from the back line there. And I mean, you understand that, because if you make a mistake in this game, you give a goal away, there's every likelihood there won't be any more goals. So I do understand there's a certain uncertainty with one or two players.
Rodri in between the two central defenders who've split quite wide, passes it to Laporte. Unai Simon hits it low. Olmo has made that run, being tracked by Kroos. Oh, somebody's spoken out of turn here. Anthony Taylor is having a word with Chan, who was fortunate. He should have been booked earlier, and that was a clear bit of dissent, the way that Anthony Taylor's reacted, and yet Chan once again escapes a booking.
It's kind of been an unusual refereeing performance. Look, it's not always an easy game to referee. The quality players. Oh, chance.
Cucurella looking for the pace of Williams.
I don't think it was offside that time. And it just shows you the pace you've got. You turn off for a millisecond against any of the 3 or 4 wingers that are on this pitch just now, and you're stuffed. And it shows you what a tough gig it is for every one of these fullbacks. Talked earlier on about the battle between Sané and Cucurella. Cucurella's played it really well so far, hasn't he? In fact, he's pushed Sané back further and further and getting into dangerous positions himself, the Chelsea player.
I don't know about you, I can't recall an opportunity for either Musiala or Sané.
No.
Morata coming deep, showed good strength to hold off the challenge of Havertz. Forward ball though, cut out by Raum. Just squeezed in a little bit there to the left back in the shadows now of the sun here, with 3 minutes to go to half-time. This is their first meeting since a 1-1 draw in the group stages of the World Cup in Qatar. Both the goals came in the second half. Morata just past the hour, and Füllkrug with a late equaliser 7 minutes from the end. But there is Rudiger just putting his foot on the ball, nobody moving, and it's become that sort of, it's like become a game of chess in many ways.
It has, and it shouldn't be a real surprise now. I mean, there are slightly different systems that they play, that every player after about 10 or 15 minutes knows where his problem is and who he should be marking, and they're trying to create a little bit of chaos now and again, the Spanish.
Rodri did well to get away from Chan, finds Williams left hand side. Williams with the cross, Neuer's got it covered as it goes over his head. He was calm and relaxed, his arms were open wide. There was no threat to the Germany goal as it's gone out of play for a throw on that far side.
It's not about a shame that, because it always was Williams' problem. It has been over a few years that he's been around that. No problem beating players, no problem getting to the byline. Sometimes the choice when you actually get there hasn't been absolutely perfect, though. In this tournament so far, he has scored one absolute stonker of a goal, hasn't he? Was that against Georgia?
It was.
Oh, what a goal.
Yeah, it was a fine finish. It was his first goal for Spain since they played Georgia back in September, but it was only his third for his country. Tonight is his 18th appearance for the 21-year-old, who scored 8 goals in 37 appearances for Athletic Bilbao. We've got just over 60 seconds remaining. It remains 0-0 on BBC Radio 5 Live. Laporte, Cucurella, Kimmich closes him down, back with Laporte. 2 former Manchester City players there coming together as Sané seizes him, pass it all the way back to Unai Simon in his dark goalkeeping outfit. Bright white gloves, strikes the ball long, right-footed. Carvajal, flick header. Lamine Yamal hooks it back then to Carvajal, and then helped out by Kroos. And Germany then give the ball away straight towards Rodri. This is Fabian. Cucurella is getting forward to the feet of Morata, plays it out to the right-hand side of the penalty area. Lamine Yamal, Williams is there, as is Olmo, tussling for the ball. Musiala on defensive duties, digs it out, and Germany should clear with 30 seconds remaining, goalless.
It was pretty good defending that. There was a lot going on off the ball there, wasn't there? I mean, I have to say, I'm impressed with Morata. He's got a lot stronger, hasn't he? He's taken on Rudiger very physically there, and not many people do that, and he's not doing a bad job of it so far.
He scored the first goal in this campaign against Croatia in Berlin. That was a sharp turn by Lamine Yamal, who shoots, but it lacked the power really. It bounced into the arms of Neuer, and it was straight at him. The keeper didn't really have to move too much.
There is something extra special about Yamal, isn't there? He is, when he gets the ball, he just slips past players with such pace. He's very young, and he made the wrong choice there. He shoots from about 25 yards there, when in actual fact he can take another 5 or 6 yards there. But boy, is he impressive when he's on the ball.
Williams is now over on that far side, the right. We're into 2 minutes of added on time. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Yamal still on that far side. Carvajal behind him. Carvajal to Yamal, forward, holding the width is Williams. Carvajal's made a run into the penalty area. Rodri just outside the box. This is Le Normand. Le Normand, I thought he was going to shoot from distance. Here is Rodri. They don't score goals outside the box in the Euros. There was a great debate. That goal from Rodri, was it inside the area? Was it outside the area against Georgia? Opta ruled it was inside. It means that their last 59 goals at the Euros have all come inside the penalty area. As Carvajal now is forward, Olmo to Carvajal, cleared by a very compact and narrow back four by David Raum. Spain though win the ball back. Rodri, can they find a way through in stoppage time? Kroos stops the run of Morata. Kroos forward ball to Gundogan, coming together between Cucurella and Gundogan. Gundogan has stayed down. I think Anthony Taylor tried to let the game flow. He's brought it back for a Germany free kick.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where it's a tough one. Now it's a hard call for the referee, because I think Gundogan makes sure he leaves his leg in a place where the defender's coming. So yeah, there is contact there. It is a free kick. I don't think it's a great deal more than that, because Gundogan knows what he's doing there.
Johnny Statman, Johnny Blaine, who is a friend of the Monday Night Club, often gets a mention from Mark Chapman. He verified for me that goal from Rodri was inside the area. Chris Sutton was a little sceptical. I know it's not like Chris, I know. Here is Rudiger to Kimmich, and there indeed is the half-time whistle. Spain 0, Germany 0. Pat Nevin.
I mean, a very interesting game in many ways, and I think it probably would have kept on going at a better pace had the injuries and the problems right at the start of the game with the free kicks and the injuries and the referee making some unusual decisions. It kind of slowed it down a little bit, and as you say, it's become very, very tactical after that. I think maybe the Spanish are just nudging it with chances and looking slightly more dangerous, but there's so little in it, and you just know it's going to come down to one piece of absolute brilliance. The problem is trying to guess who that absolute brilliance is going to come from, because there's so many capable of it in this field at the moment. But at the moment, not completely taken off yet, but a very intriguing game.
And in this heavyweight contest, no side has managed to land a knockout blow just as yet. Half-time then, Spain 0, Germany 0. And Kelly, you're in Hamburg.
I am indeed, yes. Ian Dennis and Pat Nevin bringing us that game between Spain and Germany. And Pat, for two teams who've got so much talent on display, it's been pretty scrappy for the first 45 minutes.
I think that was understandable from the Germans, because I think they realised early on that the sprightliness of the Spanish was going to cause them all sorts of problems. So there was a few hefty hits early on in the game, and it kind of made it a little bit bitty for a little bit too long. And you understand why the Germans are going to do that, because I think if they stand up and just play an open game, I think the Spanish probably win this one, because of the like of Nico Williams and Jamal out in the wide areas. They just look fabulous. So, you know, I understand why that happened, but, you know, the game will open up. It's a very steamy atmosphere here, and because of that, one or two players get tired, a little bit of space will open up, and whether it will happen in the next 45 or indeed possibly the 30 after that, I don't know, but at some point some of those players will get opportunities.
Whenever it happens, and whichever side goes through, there could be players missing for either side, with the injury to Pedri and with suspensions from players picking up yellow cards today.
Yeah, Rudiger's going to miss it. That's a massive one. He was obviously quite affected by that for about 10 or 15 minutes afterwards, because he wasn't getting into any tackles. He was kind of holding off a little bit, obviously worried about being sent off in this game, but he's going to miss the next one, and he has been really core of that defence for quite some time now. Le Normand, he needs to get his head together, because as far as I'm concerned, he's been booked for doing nothing wrong, and that's hard to take, knowing that if your team goes through you've got a semi-final coming up and you're not going to be able to play in it because of what was a very unusual decision by the referee. That's a tough one to take, but hey, that's tournament football. Need to go on with it, need to deal with it, and they'll put it to the back of their minds. But you're absolutely right, it's not been the explosive game we hoped for so far, but that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. I mean, I really do expect it will, and if any team scores early in the second half, I'm sure we'll have a cracker still to come.
And Pat Nevin and Ian Dennis will bring you second half commentary from Stuttgart of Spain against Germany, 0-0 there at half time. As he said, we are here and we are in Hamburg ahead of the late kick-off this evening. It's 8 o'clock here in Hamburg, and we'll be bringing you coverage of what could be quite a tight game between Portugal and France. We'll have some build up to that coming up. We'll also get the very latest from a busy day at Wimbledon after the BBC News with Richard Foster.
The voice of the UK.
And the home of the Euros and Wimbledon.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Kelly. Good evening. Rachel Reeves has become Britain's first ever female Chancellor as Sir Keir Starmer names his first cabinet after Labour's landslide election victory. She's been speaking at the Treasury and told staff she's aware of the challenges of the job.
It comes with a great weight of responsibility. I embrace it. It will demand hard work. I am ready for it. The British people have put their trust in this new government. They have put their trust in us to run the economy and to protect their finances. And that trust must not be squandered.
Angela Rayner has been named Deputy Prime Minister, John Healey is the Defence Secretary, and Pat McFadden has been appointed Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster. Yvette Cooper is the new Home Secretary. She's been outlining her priorities outside the Home Office.
Trying to get neighbourhood police back on our streets in our communities, and also setting up the new Border Security Command to go after the criminal boat gangs that are organising the dangerous boat crossings. Our communities have faced damage and often felt fractured and sometimes brittle as well, and our task has to be to bring people back together.
David Lammy is the new Foreign Secretary and says everyone wants to see an immediate ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. He says he'll do all he can diplomatically to support Joe Biden in bringing about that ceasefire. And he's been setting out his key aims in government.
I want to see a reset on Europe, a reset on our relationships with the global south, and a reset on climate. And I also want to see some gear shifts on European security and on global security, given all the problems that we're seeing in the Middle East. But also I want to centre our foreign policy on British growth.
In the past few minutes, Lisa Nandy's been promoted to Culture Secretary in Sir Keir Starmer's top team after the previous holder of the brief, Thangam Debonair, lost her seat to the Greens. Reform UK have won another seat. They've just taken Basildon South and East Thurrock from the Conservatives, with a majority of just 98 votes over the Labour candidate. It takes Reform's total to 5 seats, despite securing more than 14% of the vote share. Earlier, Nigel Farage was heckled at a news conference, but said he'd campaign for changes to the electoral system.
If we had proportional representation, we'd be looking at nearly 100 seats. But equally, first past the post inverts the other way, where Labour get fewer votes they got under Corbyn, and yet 200 more seats. It is very much my view that our outdated first-past-the-post electoral system is not fit for purpose, and we will campaign with anyone and everyone to change this electoral system.
The Conservatives had their worst election result ever and will be now looking for a new leader after Rishi Sunak announced his resignation. He'll step down once the process of choosing a successor begins and says he's heard the anger of the people. Dame Eleanor Lang is the former Conservative MP for Epping Forest. She told 5 Live the Tories' next leader must have serious substance.
There's been far too much discussion of late about trivia instead of about principles. There has also been far too much talk about personalities. It isn't a game show. It's about people's lives and it's about the future of this country. We have to have a leader who will have decent, honest, straightforward arguments with Keir Starmer.
The Liberal Democrats will return to government as the third largest party in Parliament with 71 seats. The party took the seats of 2 former Prime Ministers, David Cameron and Theresa May. And in Wales, almost all the seats went to Labour, leaving the Tories with no MPs at all there. In Northern Ireland, Sinn Féin has the most seats in Westminster, while the DUP lost 3 MPs.
In the latest travel news, on the roads in Greater Manchester, the M60 clockwise. One lane is closed at the moment between junction 13 at Worsley and the Swinton interchange. It's broken down vehicle there, very heavy traffic, so expect delays. The M25 anti-clockwise, 2 lanes are closed between junction 17 and 16 at the M40. There's been an accident. Traffic is queuing as you approach that closure. Really long delays already, so it is going to be slow. And the M23 southbound, the exit slip road is partially blocked at junction 11 at Pease Pottage. That is causing a bit of a backup onto the main carriageway. It's a broken down lorry, so it's going to take a little while for that to clear. Ellie Bredon, 5 Live Travel.
Now, stay back. We are going to rock through time.
On BBC iPlayer.
I have the whole universe at my fingertips.
The brand new season.
I'd love it if you came with me.
Doctor Who. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
This is 5 Live Sports
with Kelly Kitts.
Euro 2024 Deutschland.
We're in Hamburg this evening for the 8 o'clock kickoff between Portugal and France in the quarterfinals of Euro 24. Before that, we'll be back to Stuttgart for the second half of Spain against Germany. That one is 0-0 at half-time. And our coverage of Wimbledon continues on Sports Extra. Let's head there now for an update. Ian Carter is on centre court, where reigning men's champion Carlos Alcaraz had a titanic battle with Francis Tiafoe, Ian.
He really did. Tiafoe provided just so much energy. He really stretched Alcaraz, who wasn't at his absolute best. He dropped the first set 7-5, hit back, taking the second by 6 games to 2. But Tiafoe came back. He took the third 6-4, and the fourth went all the way to a tiebreak. So there was real concern as far as Alcaraz was concerned. But he came through the breaker and then really up to gear in the final set to take that by 6 games to 2. And as a result, takes his place in the last 16. But a real scare for Alcaraz, no doubt about it, Kelly.
2013 Wimbledon champion Marion Bartoli is alongside Ian at Wimbledon. Marion, how would you sum up that encounter?
I think it was very tense, for sure. Francis Tiafoe really had.
We will get to hear what Marion Bartoli made of that very shortly, once we've got the more technical details sorted out. In the meantime, we can hear about Britain's Sonny Cartel, who's in action on court 1 against Coco Gauff. Maz Faruqi is watching this one. Maz.
Hello, Kelly. Yes, Coco Gauff serving for the first set, leading 5-4. She has just broken Sonny Cartel in the previous game of this first set, but Sonny Cartel doing really well, I think, given the occasion, the fact she's playing in this arena, court 1, and given the huge opponent she is facing over the net in the number 2 seed, Coco Gauff. She has rallied after conceding a break early on in the first set, and then she had 2 breakback points of her own in the 8th game of the first set, was able to take advantage of the second one of those with Gauff serving a double fault, but then immediately was broken then in the next game by the US Open champion. So Coco Gauff serving here at 30-love in this first set to take this first set 6 games to 4, so a couple of points away. But Sonny Cartel with a wonderful forehand winner there, so she's really rising to the occasion there. Obviously the challenge of facing Coco Gauff is a huge one, but she's not letting the occasion overawe her at the moment.
Maz, for now, thank you very much. Ian, back to you, because Emma Raducanu is in action against Maria Sakkari.
Yes, Emma Raducanu now has got the early break of serve here against Maria Sakkari, but she is under a little bit of pressure here at 15-30 in her initial service game. Of course, Raducanu is looking to build on what was a brilliant performance in the second round. She knows about Sakkari in a Grand Slam environment because she beat her in the semi-finals in the US Open when she won that a couple of years ago. So the omens are good. It's a fairly sparsely populated centre court right now, people catching their breath after Alcaraz, but this will fill up and I'm sure will turn into a real cauldron as this match continues.
Ian, we are going to try and talk to Marion now. Hopefully, Marion, you can hear me and I can hear you. It's nice. All working perfectly now. Look, French Open finalist Jasmine Paolini's through to the 4th round for the first time at SW19, but she's up against Madison Keys next.
Well, Jasmine Paolini has been really surprising us since the beginning of the season. She never passed any more than the second round at any Grand Slam she played since the beginning of her career until the Australian Open this year, when she started to reach the round of 16, and then she backed it up with that beautiful and amazing run at Roland Garros when she conquered so many hearts with that beautiful smile on the court. Today she had a great victory over Bianca Andreescu, a former US Open champion as well herself, 7-6, 6-1, very convincing. But she's up against Madison Keys, Kelly, and Madison Keys is having a lot of firepower. And on the grass, she has proven over the years that firepower can be extremely dangerous and hard to handle. So we will be in for a very tight contest between those two players. They're very close in terms of the ranking as well. So it's getting very interesting here as W19.
Marion, lovely to talk to you eventually. Thank you very much to Marion Bartley and to Ian Carter, and of course to Maz Faruqi. And remember that you can keep up to date with everything that's happening at Wimbledon as coverage continues on Sports Extra. We will have regular updates here on 5 Live Sport. We'll be back to Stuttgart very soon for second half commentary of that game between Spain and Germany, and then at 8 o'clock this evening in Hamburg, it's Portugal against France. Alistair Bruce-Ball and Chris Sutton will be your commentary team. Ali, it's a repeat of the 2016 Euros final, but much has changed since then. It's just a marker rather than a predictor.
I mean, are we actually calling it Portugal-France, or are we just cutting to the chase and going straight to Ronaldo against Mbappe?
Well, let's start with the headline and then work our way into the details, shall we?
I'm saying that tongue-in-cheek, actually, Kelly, because it is an obvious narrative. It is going to be a massive feature of tonight's game, and actually I think both nations really need their star men to help them find a creative spark. I was saying to Chris yesterday, we were having a coffee in Berlin, that I felt both teams have become a little constipated at this tournament.
We have some great conversations, don't we?
Genuinely, you two are spending far too much time together. Sometimes thoughts can stay inside your head, Ali, but there has been an issue with both these sides scoring.
Yes, there has, and let's hope this is the evening when both teams really come to life in this competition. France, I mean, they always seem to go into tournament football and just do enough, so this is maybe when they can get going. And Portugal, everybody talks about Ronaldo. I wonder whether he is part of the problem, the fact that at the ripe old age of, 39 now, that the team are always looking for him in an attacking sense. But they've got so many quality players through their side. Bruno Fernandes, Bernardo Silva, they are a talented lot, and it's an interesting game, difficult one to call. I just think that France eventually will click. Mbappe hasn't really hit the heights we know that he's capable of, so maybe this is the evening when it happens.
Let's head back to Wimbledon and Maz Faruqi.
What rallies these two players are constructing here on court one, exchanging ground strokes on the baseline, but the world number 2 Coco Gauff has now just managed to wrap up the first set against the world number 298, the Brit Soné Cartel. 6-4, she's taken the first set of this third round match.
Thank you very much for that, Maz. Remember, as always, coverage continues on Sports Extra with updates here on 5 Live Sport. Here in Hamburg, Chris Sutton and Alistair Bruce-Ball, who you've just been hearing from, will bring us commentary of that big game between France and Portugal. In the meantime, we're going to head back to Stuttgart, where no goals as yet between Spain and Germany. Taking you through the second half, Pat Nevin and Ian Dennis.
Thank you, Kelly. We have a change, though, for Spain. Le Normand, who was booked in the first half, and should Spain progress, he would be banned for the semi-final, has been replaced at half-time by Nacho. His only appearance was a start against Croatia in the first game. So Spain line up with Simon in goal, Carvajal, Nacho, Laporte and Cucurella, Fabian Rodri and Olmo in the midfield. Olmo, remember, came on in the first half for Pedri, Williams, Yamal and Morata. And in fact, Germany are going to be making a double change. Leroy Sané has come off, and I think that is, indeed it is, Florian Wirtz is going to replace him, and Chan has also come off to be replaced by Andrić. So a double change being made by Germany.
Well, it didn't look really bad to him, but that's quite a lot of change, isn't it? To make 2 changes at half-time there, but Chan wasn't, I thought he should have been booked anyway. They didn't look to me as if they had enough energy. I think they needed to add a little bit of energy. And if it's Sané's come off or Wirtz, I think that might give a chance for Musiala to go and switch wings, which is better over the other wing. So she'll see if that makes a difference.
Well, Wirtz straight away has introduced himself and has caught Laporte with a wrap around the heels. Wirtz just gets a talking to from Anthony Taylor. So Andrić replacing with his dyed pink hair. He's certainly standing out in the middle of that midfield. So it means that Neuer is in goal. A back four of Kimmich, Rudiger, Tah and Raum. Kroos, Andrić and Gundogan. Wirtz, Havertz and Musiala. For Germany, all in white against Spain in their red shirts and royal and their navy blue shorts. They're playing from left to right, are Spain, where the majority of that red is behind that goal away towards our right. But early in the second half, and it started again in a stop-start fashion that was symptomatic really of much of the first half.
Well, particularly the very beginning 10-15 minutes when you wanted the game to really explode, and it couldn't get going. And once again, everyone is up for this second half start, and right away you've got an injury. And I don't think Nacho he wasn't pretending there. I think it was Nacho went down. He got his foot trodden on, but let's see if we got a little bit better now.
Carvajal comes forward and comes inside, and he finds Olmo. There's no width. Williams has gone on ahead of him, but he does find Williams inside the penalty area. Williams with the cross. Yamal brings it under control off his left foot, rolls it towards Morata. Morata with a turn, puts it over the top, 7 yards out. Real chance.
I thought it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant by him. One winger crosses over to the other one, and Yamal's clever enough not to just go and whip it, and it's tough to beat the two centre-backs, obviously on Rudiger in the air, so he's put it into feet there, and he's got a very, very quick turn there on Tah. Now the referee seems to have pointed to some sort of a free kick, because it certainly didn't look offside to me when that ball was played in, but he couldn't quite keep it on target, but clever play there.
We had a brief word with Antonio, a Spanish commentator at half-time, who was in full agreement with everything that you said in your summary with Kelly at the break.
Yeah, particularly about the referee not favouring the Spanish, but that's not a shock in Spanish radio, is it?
2.5 minutes into the second half, 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Wirtz touches the ball, Havertz, man over, is Kimmich, right hand side of the penalty area, closed down by Cucurella, back towards Andrić, hits it first time, it's curling, it's always going away from goal, from Robert Andrić, and it will be a goal kick to Spain. I remember coming here in 2006, it was a UEFA Cup tie with Middlesbrough. They've since removed the running track, they've actually lowered the pitch, the stands have been moved closer to the action. It really is quite an expansive but tidy stadium.
It's a lovely stadium. Oddly enough, I've seen other stadiums here in Germany which have held the atmosphere a little bit better than it, but it's still a very, very impressive stadium, and let's be honest, they all have been in this tournament.
Yes, they have. This is the Stuttgart, where Germany have a decent record. They're unbeaten in 8 when they've played here in Stuttgart. Holds 54,000. German voices trying to make themselves heard again, keep the host nation going. Spain, who have a wretched record, they have never ever beaten a host nation at a major tournament in 9 attempts, and indeed in each of the last 3 they've drawn, and they've been eliminated on penalties. Certainly chances at a premium so far early in the second half on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds, as Rodri goes back to Simon. And talking of BBC Sounds, tomorrow is the sort of day that is made for it, to take 5 Live with you wherever you go, and you think that New Zealand-England, the Rugby Union Test, gets underway at 8:05. The Wimbledon coverage, England-Switzerland at 5, to be followed by the Netherlands against Turkey at 8 o'clock. So much live sport to look forward to. Throw in the British Grand Prix on Sunday as well, and hopefully 5 Live will get your vote. 5 minutes into the second half, 0-0. Here is Raum. Back to Andrić. Prods it. Intercepted by Yamal, and he just lifts it out of play. Catches it, and it'll be a Germany throw.
It's a shame, it's such a beautiful little touch. By the way, I've got a question to ask you about our Spanish journalist friend. Do you only bring him up because you think he looks like me? Is he my brother?
Didn't think he looked anything like Tommy.
Famously. Talk to my people about that.
Here is Cucurella, far side the left, chips it in field. Morata got a challenge from behind by Tar, right in front of the referee. And again, Anthony Taylor tried to let the game flow. He did actually well to get something on it, Morata, but it was a clear foul. Free kick to Spain outside the centre circle.
Again, if the referee gets something wrong, we have to say it. When he gets it right, his position there was absolutely spot on. Seeing exactly what Tar was doing there and tried to let it play on. Did everything right there.
Puyol is in the crowd. Piqué as well, I noticed, just sat in front of him down below.
I have to say, one of my favourite players in the history of world football, Puyol. Wonderful, wonderful player. Attitude, fantastic.
Here is Lamine Yamal running in from the right-hand side. And Dani Olmo coming onto that ball, hitting it first time right-footed, and Spain take the lead. Right-footed, finds the bottom left-hand corner. Germany didn't react, and Dani Olmo gives Spain the breakthrough. 1-0.
It's very noticeable that all the way through this game, Spain have been doing this. They do not lump the crosses in when they get wide. They try to pass it in and find somebody running in from a deep area. A lot of the time it's gone to Morata. This time, almost come from that deep area there. Didn't take a touch. He knew that he only had one possibility. First time, and he takes it and he caresses it rather beautifully into the bottom corner there. But a lot of lovely pick out that is from Yamal on the right hand side. Super wing play and really intelligent pass there.
But he came so late, nobody picked up the run of Olmo, just inside the penalty area, hit it first time right-footed, and Neuer was given no chance, and Spain lead.
It's something that the Spanish obviously work on. We've seen them do it time and time again. I mean, they don't lump it in. If you've got a centre forward up there, and even though it's Morata and he'll try and take on, he's got Tar and he's got Rudiger, don't lump it into the box. The chances are you're not going to get anything. But if you pass it into the box and look for players running from deep, you can score, as they did there, brilliantly.
Dani Olmo, he scored the fourth goal against Georgia. That's his second goal of this tournament. And all of a sudden now Germany have got a problem, because if they were just trying to contain Spain in that first half and the early stages of the second, they're going to have to come out, but by doing so, they're then going to expose themselves to the pace that Spain have with Williams and Yamal.
We could have done with that first goal right at the start of the first half. However, we've got it early in the second, and that should definitely open up, and it already has.
Gundogan to Raum, left-hand side of the penalty area, cross takes the deflection. Simon did ever so well there, because the cross took a deflection, he got a fingertip save onto it, and it allowed Spain then to eventually clear the ball out of the penalty area. But Germany have won it back. Raum passes the ball back towards Kroos. Kroos keeps it in play. This is Tar on the halfway line, left of the centre circle. Gundogan. Musiala to Raum. Yamal picked up now by Musiala, driving at the Spanish defence. Left-hand side of the box, back towards Gundogan. Gundogan's cross. Cucurella tucked in, heads it out. Andrić passes the ball forward. Williams. All of a sudden Spain can come forward now. Morata away to the left. Olmo going on ahead of him. Williams looks for Olmo. Jonathan Tah will get there first, and with a back pass towards Neuer, and the game has certainly now stepped up.
Yeah, this is the game we're expecting. It's finally happened, and you understand why it takes a lot of while. But just notice it now. Raum, he's almost playing like a left winger. This game is so open immediately.
This is Kimmich. Kimmich out towards that far side. Wirtz with a cross, falls towards Gundogan, taken away from his former Manchester City teammate Rodri. He was pulling back the right boot, he was looking to hit that on the volley, but Rodri, right place, right time for Spain.
Good reaction from the Germans. They're in the front foot here, they're creating chances all over the place.
This is Andrić, Musiala again, Rodri with a well-timed intervention with a challenge, because Musiala was looking to try and get that shot away. It's amazing, isn't it, that straight away the side's now up the ante.
Yeah, I mean, people don't like to take chances because you're the one that can make a mistake. Well, the game's now gone. It's open now, and the Spanish are loving it because they've got spaces to break into as well.
And Williams finds Yamal, and Yamal up against Raum, helped out by Williams. Back heels the ball towards Yamal. Yamal enters the penalty area. Williams has a little dig at goal, and it was a challenge coming in. Füllkrug is going to be coming on. Germany are going to be making a change. Julian Nagelsmann not deliberating, not hesitating.
Yeah. He's been very brave, hasn't he? He's been very brave. He's made two at half time, gone one down there, straight into it. He's not waited for the the usual 60th minute before he makes the change. It'll be interesting to see who comes off though. I mean, he usually takes Havertz off to bring Füllkrug on, but Havertz has looked pretty good in this game so far.
Here is Gundogan. Wirtz, far side to right. Germany trail by a goal to nil. Here is Gundogan with his back to goal, right-hand side of the penalty area. Wirtz tries to pass the ball inside. Fabian, who hasn't really got forward as much. That was Andrić catching Williams. He's gone down as the Spain player. And a yellow card. And Robert Andrić will miss the semi-final, like Rudiger, should Germany progress. Let's get an update from Wimbledon, Ian Carter.
Encouraging start for Emma Raducanu, that early break of serve, which means that she leads by 3 games to 2. She did have the chance of a double break. She had love 40 on the Maria Sakkari serve, but she couldn't capitalise. So it's 3-2 with just the 1 break of serve first set. Now let's check in with the other Briton on court, with Maz Faruqi on court 1.
Not the second set that Sonny Cartel have hoped for. She's lost both her service games in this set and is love 4 down to the world number 2 Coco Gauff here on court 1 in the second set, having lost the first, remember, 4-6.
Commentary on Wimbledon continues on Sports Extra. So the double change is Maximilian Mittelstadt replacing Rahm, like for like. He had the 3 starts at left back in the group stages, didn't play against Denmark, the Stuttgart defender, here on his home ground. And Niklas Füllkrug getting a wonderful ovation, who has come on, and he has replaced Ilkay Gundogan. So that is the double change that has been made by Nagelsmann as Germany look for an equaliser.
That's a clever change. I mean, the left back for left back, actually, I don't think Rahm was doing particularly badly at all. But the play, obviously, he would argue was at fault at the goal because it came from that right-hand side and Jamal. But to take Gundogan off, it gives you the chance to put Havertz back in his best position, which is as a number 10, arriving deep with Füllkrug up top. So I can see the thinking of Nagelsmann there.
Andrić snapping at the heels of Fabian Ruiz, who tries to get away from him and succeeds. As Fabian now to Carvajal. Spain lead by a goal to nil. Fabian looks to play in Olmo, and here is Olmo, right corner of the area, enters the box, head looking up. Rudiger with a clearance, and eventually Kimmich will run the ball away for Germany. But then Rodri with the interception. Fabian to Morata, forward ball, might fall towards Williams off a sliding challenge that was made by the Germany defence. Here is Wirtz under pressure from Cucurella. This is where Spain try with their intensity to pin the opposition back, and at the minute they're trying to beat that press of Germany. Neuer towards Tah, lifts it up towards Musiala. Nacho tight behind him. Spain with a turnover. Olmo, the goal scorer, to Rodri. They are a very, very impressive side.
Yeah, they are lovely on the ball. And just a few minutes ago, we went down the right-hand side and they tried exactly the same pass into the box. You described it perfectly in the commentary there. They just don't lump it in there. They don't even dink it to the back post. Mittelstadt, he's got away with one there.
I thought Mittelstadt caught Jamal, but Anthony Taylor has told him to get up. Mittelstadt was booked. He'd be another Germany player who'd missed the semi-final. Over on that far side, Wirtz the right, Germany trail. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Kimmich with a cross, repelled by the head of Laporte. Firm header too, back out towards that far side as Williams goes to ground. No foul, instead it'll be a Germany throw midway through the Spain half as we approach the hour mark.
I love the way this is set up now, because Füllkrug is, he's just up there. He's a battering ram with a centre forward. He's got an eye for a goal as well, and he'll attack everything, which will leave space for Havertz to come in at that back post.
Mittelstadt with the cross. Havertz was up. Laporte got the header away. Collected by Germany, and Kimmich right hand side to Rudiger, level with the penalty area. Rudiger's cross, brief header there by Laporte, brushed the top of his head. Jamal is going to try and get it. Mittelstadt though gets it away from him. His cross blocked by Carvajal. Olmo now lifts the ball up in the air deep inside his own half and plays it up towards Morata, but Kroos gets there first. Andrić passes the ball forward. This is Wirtz looking to turn and shoot, right-footed off target. Took a deflection on its way through.
Yeah,
it's a corner kick to Germany.
Loving the pace of this game, and of course it helps that the Germans are, you can hear me over them, the Germans are shooting into their fans just now, and they're reacting really well, because beforehand they really hadn't been playing at 100%. This is everything they've got so far. They are throwing the kitchen sink at the Spanish.
They trail by a goal to nil. An hour played on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Corner kick to Germany, playing from right to left as we look. Kroos to take it, far side the right. Rudiger up from the back, as is Tar. Havertz there, full crook. A lot of targets, in it comes. Laporte, good header away under pressure. Collected by Wirtz, chips the ball in, but chips it too long and out for a goal kick.
That's a massive disappointment for the Germans there, because they're working now to get in their positions just to put it in the mixer. And you can't blame them for doing it. If they're going to play football on the ground against the Spanish side, they're actually been second best. Not by a huge amount, but they're second best. So they've just looked at it and thought, OK, can't do that, let's see if we can do something else. It's kind of worked for them so far. They're getting into good areas, but that was a poor crossing.
This is Germany's 19th quarter-final at a major tournament. It's a record for any European nation. They have progressed from 15 of the previous 18, and indeed each of the last 7. But they are behind by a goal to nil, as Spain are going to be making a change, and Ferran Torres is the player who's going to be coming on. He's appeared in 3 of the 4 matches so far. Cross from that far side, the right, from Kimmich, blocked by Cucurella.
It must be a temptation off to bring the young Jamal off. He's making a few mistakes defensively. He has to follow his left full-back when he overlaps at this point in time, and at the moment he's finding it difficult.
Cucurella, ball over the top. It was looked towards Havertz, and Cucurella couldn't take any chances and headed it behind for a corner kick that Germany have looked about taking it quickly and then have had second thoughts. And it isn't going to be Lamine Yamal who is the player coming off. So the youngest ever player at a European Championship, still looking to be the youngest goal scorer, makes way for Ferran Torres.
But he did get an assist. You got to give him that. The most important pass of the game so far was made by him. But he's beginning to get pushed a little bit further back, and he wasn't making the right decisions defensively. I totally and utterly understand why De La Fuente brought him off, even though it's always sad to see it, because he is a special talent that we're going to be seeing a lot of in the next 15 to 20 years.
So Torres is on, every red shirt is inside the penalty area. Corner kick to Germany, looking for an equaliser with 27 minutes remaining. Kroos, hands on hips, waits to deliver. And referee Anthony Taylor is calling Rudiger towards him. Rudiger's already on a yellow card, and also Nico Williams. Now there is the referee's whistle, play can resume. Corner kick, far side, the right, Fulkrug with a header, drops off target and out for a goal kick. Spain still lead.
This is going to be very difficult indeed for the Spanish. They're going to this sort of, I mean, everywhere, left, right, from deep, it's all getting put into that area. Fulkrug's going to attack everything. The centre-backs are going to be up. We know Havertz is a danger. It's going to be a long 27 minutes for the Spanish fans.
Back to Wimbledon, Ian Carter.
2 huge running forehands have helped Emma Raducanu dig herself out of trouble and hold serve after facing break point in the last service game. So Raducanu against Maria Sakkari, the Greek 9th seed, and Raducanu leads 4-2 first set.
Whether it's Wimbledon or indeed the Euros, you can always listen to BBC Radio 5 Live through your smart speaker. All you've got to do is say, ask BBC Sounds to play Radio 5 Live. On this busy weekend that we're about to go into here at SW19 and also across Germany. With 64 minutes played, the thunderclap echoes around Stuttgart as Simon comes to claim and collect that ball and now looks for the early release, right-footed downfield. Almost goal is still the difference between the two. Mittelstadt heads the ball forward towards Musiala. There was no foul, says Carvajal. Anthony Taylor agrees, tells him to get up to his feet as Havertz comes in from the left touchline. Andrik now onto the ball with that shock of pink hair. This is Wirtz looking to try and turn. He's side onto goal. Coming onto it is Musiala from deep. Fabian. Oh, the decision has gone against Germany. Free kick to Spain. They wanted to take it quickly too. They couldn't get Ferran Torres on the ball.
Yeah, I mean, Morata's, well, he's been clever trying to take it quickly there, but Morata goes down, and it's one of those things. There's the most tiniest touch in the back of his heel, and he's completely and utterly collapsed on it there. And I think he's very unlucky. He's very lucky to get a free kick there. Morata.
Free kick to Spain. Fabian being pursued by Andrik. Nacho, the substitute, to Olmo. Tried to roll away from Kroos. Kroos snapping away at his heels. Luis de la Fuente applauds the decision and applauds Dani Olmo, whose goal is still the difference. That replacement early in the game for the injured Pedri, as Germany have about 25 minutes remaining to salvage their participation as the hosts in this Euro 2024 competition here in Germany. Fabian to Olmo, diagonal ball. Out then towards Ferran Torres, level with the penalty area on the right-hand side. Back to Carvajal, little touch by Fabian, goes straight towards Toni Kroos, plays the ball in field. Wirtz, forward ball to Havertz. Havertz runs now, and it might just open up here for Germany. Füllkrug is ahead of him. Carvajal does ever so well, just gets a little touch with the right boot, and Unai Simon gathers it in safely. Spain still lead by a goal to nil. Back to court one, Mazfarouki.
The incredible run to the third round of Wimbledon for the world number 298, Sonny Cartel, has come to an end here against the world number 2, Coco Gauff. It was a pretty evenly matched first set, but the US Open champion then raced away with the second. Gauff coming through 6-4, 6-love.
Olmo tugged back by Kroos. He was running away from goal. They were covering defenders, but it was a cynical bit of play by Toni Kroos, who is shown a yellow card and is booked.
Yeah, I mean, brilliant play by the goalkeeper. They've done it quite a few times, Simon. He'll play a 20, 30, 40 yard, sometimes 50 yard ball straight up the pitch. It's not a lump, it's a pass into that area. He's done it again there. It's flicked on. Kroos has got booked. He should have been booked earlier.
Well, had he been booked at the start of the first half, there's every chance he probably wouldn't have done that.
Correct. Correct.
And Olmo would have been maybe away.
Yes.
Although it wasn't a denying of a goal-scoring opportunity. But we're midway through the second half, and Spain lead by a goal to nil. Dani Olmo with the goal 6 minutes into the second half. Fabian with a free kick, left-footed, chips it into the penalty area. Rodri heads it back towards
Hi, Kelly.
Dani Olmo. Break up there with Musiala. Musiala then tries to hit it early. Wirtz is saying that he was being impeded. He has a word with the referee, Anthony Taylor, who just glares at him, and the ball goes all the way through to Unai Simon.
Really difficult moments now for the Germans, because since the goal they stepped it up and it kind of worked for a while, and then they made a change and that worked for a while, but so far the Spanish have survived it. And can the Germans keep at that level? Because they need to do that between now and the end of the match. There's a quarter of the match to go, and they need to keep it up at that level, or else they will not score a goal.
That's the voice of Pat Nevin here in Stuttgart, where Spain have a slender lead. Just over 20 minutes remaining. Fabian back then with Unai Simon, chips it forward over the head of Kimmich, downward header by Williams to Morata, deep inside his own half, forward ball with Fabian. Morata now up towards the halfway line, trying to turn with Rudiger, feeds it, and a gap has appeared for Williams as Kimmich was downfield. Williams running now. Kimmich and Rudiger try and hold up Williams. He comes in between the two. The ball runs away from him, and there is Andrić on the edge of the German penalty area, and Germany are back in possession. And Havertz, just outside the centre circle, leaves it now for Wirtz. Passes the ball to Mittelstadt on this near side, the left. Infield to Musiala. Wirtz has continued the run. Left corner of the area, enters the box, but surrounded by the red shirts. That's what I was talking about, that work ethic. As the cross comes in, Havertz tries to get his head onto it. This is Füllkrug, can't turn. Andrić places it, great save by Simon. Back out towards Havertz, they appeal for handball. Simon dives on the ball, and Spain still lead by a goal to nil.
Well, just behind that goal, every one of those German fans are screaming for a handball. They seem to think they saw something that the referee hasn't spotted. And we're just seeing a little bit of a freeze frame. I can't see much in that so far. There may have actually been an argument for offside in the build-up to that play. It did definitely hit Cucurella's hand, and his hand was out slightly. So we'll be having a look at that.
At the minute, there is no appearance on our little monitor that would suggest that VAR are doing so. Of course, Stuart Atwell is the VAR. Well, I say that of course they check everything, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, but the hand wasn't high. It was low down by his knee, but it was out from his knee, and it certainly, as far as I could see from the replay, caught Cucurella's hand, and it was in the box.
The point being is that they will have dismissed that check very, very quickly as Fabian out towards that far side. 20 minutes remain. Nevertheless, what a save by Simon.
Yeah, and he's actually been fantastic in this game, not just with the saves, but also with his distribution. It's been really, really special. And by the way, talking about handballs, when the ball's crossed in, when the hand's just a little bit out the side. Denmark against Germany.
Yes.
Certainly the Germans they've got lucky with that already in this tournament.
Remember, no opposition player is yet to score against Spain. It was a Lenormand own goal against Georgia. So whilst they've impressed going forward, they've been equally impressive in defence. As Andrick forward, 19 minutes remain, 5 live and BBC Sounds. Portugal-France commentary to come from 8 in Hamburg, with Alistair Bruce Ball and Chris Sutton. Little flick down the line, right side of the penalty area. Wirtz back with Kimmich. Infield, Rudiger, first time cross into the penalty area. Fulkrug tees up Havertz. Havertz, great block by Carvajal. Blocks the left-footed shot. Germany knocking at the door. Edge of the area. Mittelstadt waits. A wall of red though. Mittelstadt has to pass the ball back inside. Tar floats it forward. Cucurella tucked in, directs his header intelligently out towards Williams, who passes the ball towards Fabian. And Spain will do very, very well to bring this clear, as though Cucurella has just shown too much towards Kimmich, and they've given the ball away as a result with 18 minutes remaining. And in the city, which is known as the cradle of the automobile, Germany are looking to go through the gears in these closing stages as the cross comes in, and Fulkrug's header back down where it came from is well off target, and out it goes for a goal kick, and Spain still lead 1-0.
They still lead, but they're not getting out as much, are they? They're not being able to control the play, and the possession that the Germans have managed to get in this game so far has been pretty special, particularly in the second half since they lost the goal. Understandably, they've got everything to lose, so they need to go for it. What has impressed me is they've actually changed the system 2 or 3 times. They've got Musiala, he's coming up and he's trying to help, and Wirtz is going a wee bit more central, but the play between the strikers has been very good.
Fulkrug holds the ball up, lays it off towards Havertz. Musiala is to his left, he couldn't release the ball. Rodri has been superb. Rodri once again passes the ball now towards Ferran Torres. Ferran Torres will get there before Mittelstadt, right hand side. Mittelstadt now dives in. Does he get the ball? No, says the referee. And Mittelstadt is so annoyed with that decision from the English official. He might well have talked himself into the book, and Mittelstadt is on a yellow card, and he too would miss a semi-final.
It's a madness. I don't think he talked himself into that. I think he kicked the ball away. And that's a madness to kick the ball away and and you're out of a semi-final for that 1 minute of stupidity. Now, it is a harsh free kick, but he didn't get the ball and he touched the player and he shoved him over. He can't do that. It's madness, absolute madness. By the way, is that where the free kick actually happened? It looks to me they've moved it in a few yards.
I've got to say, I thought it was a lot closer to the touchline. I agree with you, Pat. Ferran Torres to take it, but should Germany come from behind, they're currently trailing 1-0. Andrick, Mittelstadt and Rudiger would all miss a semi-final due to picking up a yellow card in this quarter-final, that they trail by a 1-0 with 16 minutes remaining. Ferran Torres then just a few yards away from the right corner of the penalty area, just wipes his chin with his left arm, swings it towards the far post, kept in play by Laporte at that far post, and then maybe Germany can break. Musiala held up. Oh, that was a rugby tackle by Ferran Torres. He had no attempt to play the ball. He tried to bring him down by the shoulders, something you'd see in the rugby union test tomorrow.
That's one of the most ridiculous tackles I've seen in this tour. No, it is. That is the most ridiculous tackle. It is a rugby tackle. It's one of those ones that's so cynical, you just wonder, should it be worse than a yellow? Anyway, he's got away with the yellow.
Rudiger goes with a searching diagonal ball. Just over a quarter of an hour remains here in Stuttgart. Spain lead Germany by a 0-0. As Fabian to Williams, running at pace in from that left touchline, plays the ball behind to Morata. Morata goes square. Ferran Torres now midway through the Germany half. Rodri just slows it down, calms everything down for Spain. Carvajal joins the attack. Ferran Torres, Spain keeping the ball. They're just shading it in terms of possession, 53%. Musiala and Carvajal. Last touch came off Carvajal. It'll be a Germany throw on the halfway line.
Not Carvajal's best moment, that, is it? I mean, he's got the ball, he's got lots of options ahead of him. He tries a little dribble, completely and utterly loses it, gives possession away. And considering it's so hard at the moment for the Spanish to get possession, I don't think his friends are going to thank him for that. Or should that be Amigas?
Hasn't been the classic we were expecting, has it?
No, but it's tense. I mean, it is. You're going to get that. Sometimes it's like that. There's a lot of good players out in show. There have been moments that have been very, very good. Technically, it's been an interesting game tactically as well. Millions and millions of chances? No, there's not been that. I'll grant you that.
Here is Tar, left of the centre circle. Fulkrug is a target along the ground, back towards Musiala, stooping header by Carvajal and gathered in by Simon. Ian Carter at Wimbledon.
First set, Emma Raducanu against Maria Sakkari of Greece. A double break came in the 7th game, courtesy of a stunning lob right onto the baseline. A tortuous game to serve it out. 2 break points saved, and Raducanu gets the first set by 6-2.
Commentary continues on Sports Extra. Mittelstadt with the back pass to Neuer. Neuer passes it right-footed to Rudiger. Kimmich has stayed quite high on that far side, and here he is over the halfway line. He looks for the run of Wirtz round the back of Cucurella. Fulkrug hits the post. Fulkrug, who was falling down to the ground right-footed, hits the base of the right-hand post, and Germany comes so close to an equaliser.
Fabulous break there. The pace of that was incredible there, but that's so Fulkrug, isn't it? It looks like there's nothing on, no chance at all. You're right, he's falling, the ball zipped across him, but he somehow manages to get enough power on it, and Simon could have done nothing about it. Saved by the post.
First time that they've got round the back of Cucurella.
Yep, and he's done really well so far, but he's been put under pressure by a whole bunch of them. And you're looking at the German bench now, and they're all up trying to get the fans to lift the team.
They're whipping up the crowd, and the crowd respond inside this arena that holds 54,000 here in Stuttgart. 13 minutes remaining. Otherwise, Germany, the host nation, are going out in the last 8. Here is Rudiger. Forward ball to Wirtz. Spain are going to make a double change. Moreno is going to be coming on, and I think Oyarzabal is the other player who's going to be coming on as well. 2 players who have been loyal servants to Luis de la Fuente for the success that he's had with the Spanish youth sides in his career.
It's been tough for them, hasn't it? I mean, they're not used to chasing the Spanish. They're used to holding the ball, controlling the pace of games, having lots of possession. They've not had much since he scored that goal.
Kimmich with a cut back right hand side, falls to Wirtz. Wirtz can't get the shot away, and in the end it's just cleared long by Fabian. Neuer is the one. The sweeper keeper comes almost to the halfway line, but he puts it out of play for a throw.
Didn't he once do that before and make a big mistake? I think some time ago. But he'll make those changes now, and you understand why. Very, very tiring for a number of those players, particularly the midfield for the Spanish at the moment. So he's going to try and make changes, you know, give a little bit more energy than there. For most of the game, the Spanish were the more energetic side. Well, it hasn't been that for about 15 minutes.
11 minutes remaining. A lot of liquid refreshment is being taken on board on this sultry night in Stuttgart. Williams is the player who's going to be coming off, and we're also going to see Morata coming off. So Oyarzabal will replace Alvaro Morata. The Real Sociedad striker has appeared now in every game. This is his 4th appearance off the bench. He did start against Albania. And Nico Williams for Mikel Moreno, the former Newcastle United player, also coming on and taking their time as well, much to the annoyance of the German supporters, less so the German players, who are getting instructions from Nagelsmann and a lot of liquid refreshment.
Yeah, they've got real belief in themselves. You're looking at the German team down there, on the bench down there. They still don't look panicked to me. They're a team that seems to believe, no, we're going to make chances. We'll get a few more. Before the end of the game, there will be a little chance now and again. And the Germans again, another substitution. So they're really going for it just now.
Would there be a more popular goal scorer to get an equaliser than Thomas Müller? He's never scored at the Euros. He only has made 1 appearance in this European Championship, and that was against Scotland for the final 16 minutes.
I was trying to see if it was Tar that came off for him there. Wow, you're going seriously positive.
Here is Fabian to Oyarzabal, couldn't get there, it might come out to Ferran Torres, attempted clearance blocked, comes towards Moreno plays it out and over the head of Olmo, and out it goes for a throw.
It'll be intriguing to see what the Germans do now. It looks to me that they're putting Andrich back there along centre-back alongside Toni Rüdiger. It's giving Müller a chance to go in, and what an attacking look inside the Germans are now.
And Havertz picks it up and he drives forward over on that right-hand side, passes the ball up towards Müller, but just coming across is Nacho. All with his experience, the Real Madrid defender. Cucurella, though, gives the ball away straight towards Andrich. 9 minutes remaining. Kroos to Fulgroup, back to goal, turns, plays Musiala inside the penalty area, inside left channel, shoots left-footed, off target, goal kick. Spain still lead 1-0.
Yeah, it's good tactically though by Nagelsmann. He's asked a lot of different questions, and the team that he's playing just now, the way they're playing, they're trying to push up almost like a 2-3-5. Now, if anybody who's a certain age will remember, that's decades and decades and decades ago that that's played there. Rudiger's having to go out to the right hand side there, and Spanish see what they're trying to do, and what they're doing is they're painting the wingers to go as wide as possible. Two good coaches who are asking lots of different questions of each other.
That's the voice of Pat Nevin on 5 Live, as Unai Simon has been shown a yellow card for time wasting by referee Anthony Taylor.
Don't think you can argue about that too much there. And right behind them, every one of those German fans were letting Anthony Taylor know about it. By the way, Anthony Taylor's had a much better second half. I think he's let it flow, not been any mistakes in the second half, so he's done well.
It's the 8th yellow card that has been shown by Anthony Taylor. Simon with a clearance, wasn't the best. Strikes the legs of Laporte, falls towards Havertz. Havertz with the chip, just over the top. Simon was off his goal line, and Havertz went mightily close for a German equaliser.
He should get it on target, he really should. Simon, terrible goal kick, and then comes out when he shouldn't, and he leaves himself completely in no man's land there. Ball's dinked over the top. Havertz knows, he's trying to give it a little bit more because he knows Simon's a big tall goalkeeper. He should get that on target.
Unai Simon testing the patience of the German crowd. He's just been booked, he has to be careful. Clearance downfield, headed on by Moreno, headed back by Mittelstadt to Manuel Neuer. By my watch we have 7 minutes remaining of normal time. Germany looking for a late equaliser, just as they did when they met back last time at the World Cup. It was around now that man Fulkrug scored, but on this occasion he gives it away. And the ball is played forward by Laporte, and now brought down by Torres to Rodri. Foul from Müller on the back of Rodri. Free kick to Spain inside the centre circle.
It's infuriating because for Müller, for all his talents, he's not the paciest player in the world anymore. And the one chance he's had since he come on, the ball was played far too far in front of him. But you know, it could be the romantic story, couldn't it, that he gets the goal that changes everything for the country.
The winners of this will meet the winners of Portugal-France in the semi-final in Munich on Tuesday. You'll hear that quarter-final tie in Hamburg at 8 o'clock tonight on 5 Live. This is Fabian, who shoots edge of the area. It was a wild effort, left-footed. He actually had Oyarzabal to his left, who was free.
That's the second time he's done it. He's done it in the first half as well. There was an overlap on the left-hand side, and two players, Nico Williams was waiting for it, and it was Morata as well on that occasion. This time, I mean, it's unthinkable we do that, because he's got the vision to see that, so that's a mistake.
Spain looking to maintain this winning run. It would be 11 consecutive games in competitive football. It would be their best run actually since they achieved 13 years ago. Rüdiger. German crowd though still haven't lost faith. Fulkrug falling theatrically to the floor, but getting a free kick some 26 yards out from goal.
First of all, it looks a little bit lucky, but Carvajal's come in. You would call it a clever little nudge, but it ain't clever if it gives away a free kick. It's about 30 yards out. It looks a little bit too far to shoot from there. Kroos may think about it, but with the power that he's got at that back post, you think he's going to just zip it in a line with the back post, curling in towards it for his strikers and his centre-backs to go and attack it.
So you're suggesting he's not going to do a Ronaldo?
I don't think he's that carried away at the moment. Not quite yet.
One big deep breath from Toni Kroos.
But you never know, by the way.
Well, Muller's just had a word with him as well. Rudiger is hobbling. They've used all of their 5 substitutes of Germany. It's just under 30 yards out from goal. 5 minutes remain. Kroos waits to take it. Kimmich has made the darting run up from the back. Referee, he went to find him too and succeeded, but the referee has called it back, much to Kroos' frustration.
They did exactly the same from a free kick in the first half, and it was Rudiger who went wide. So you can see what they were trying to do there, but the referee's not spotted it and held up the play.
Kroos waits, chips it into the penalty area. Havertz downward header, turned behind by Simon. Referee has spotted a bit of pushing. It wouldn't have counted anyway. It'll be a free kick to Spain.
Yeah, Havertz getting on the end of it. I mean, he's getting himself into brilliant positions, but he just cannot do the final thing now. There's a little nudge there, not a huge amount, but it's enough to put the defender off. The defender in that case was Nacho. He feels hands in his back, he's going down.
Time is in short supply for Germany here in Stuttgart. 4 minutes remain. Unai Simon again didn't really get much elevation off that clearance, but Olmo touches the ball out to that far side the left for Cucurella. A little flick by Olmo. That was Andrić who won it forcefully. Havertz is released on the left-hand side. Havertz looks up, level with the penalty area, sends over the cross, and Carvajal arriving at the far post, heads it flying, header behind for a corner kick. Germany are putting Spain under pressure.
Where have they got the energy from? They didn't look like a team that had that sort of energy in the first half, but they know they're going to hit this tournament, and they have played really well in this second half since they lost the goal, the Germans.
On this muggy evening in Stuttgart, 3 minutes of normal time remain on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Spain still lead 1-0.
You wouldn't put it past them, would you?
No, you wouldn't. Kroos rolls it from this near side the left to Kimmich. Back heels the ball to Kroos. Kroos cuts it back. Musiala just inside the penalty area. He tees up Mittelstadt. Shot blocked. Cleared away by Olmo. Anywhere will do for Spain. Out it goes for a throw. They're firmly on the back foot now as Spain.
De La Fuente's telling his players to calm down. Yeah, right. No chance they're going to get any opportunity to calm down because they're getting closed down. They're getting put under pressure just now, and they're beginning to look a little bit tired.
Here is Andrić. Passes the ball out wide. Müller. His diagonal cross from that right-hand side. Füllkrug touches it on with his head. Musiala, left-hand side of the penalty area. Musiala can't get a shot of goal. He tries to pull it back to the edge of the area. There's a potential break on. Oyarzabal is going to give chase. Neuer, though, is out of his penalty area, and he'll leave it. And Neuer will take the throw. And he takes it quickly and plays it down this near side to Mittelstadt on the halfway line. The left back finds Kroos. Spain are desperate to get every red shirt back behind the ball. Kroos floats it out towards the right. Müller controls it, waits. Still, they're not panicking, but there is a degree of urgency, of course there is, as Rudiger. But there's a structure about their play. In comes the cross, bounces off the chest of Havertz. Wirtz touches it, Kroos works it out towards the left. Mittelstadt with a cross, queuing over the far post. Kimmich is there, down into the ground. The equaliser from Wirtz. The goal that was coming duly arrives, and Germany are back level with about 90 seconds of normal time remaining. 1-1.
Oh, I said you wouldn't put it past them. Of course you're not going to put it past them. They had so much pressure. They were putting so many balls in the box. They've got so many strikers and so many quality players there. It is absolutely no surprise whatsoever that they've got the goal back, and they now have everything in their favour because the Spanish look tired. They've made a lot of changes. Well, it looks like we're going to have 30 more minutes of pure drama here. Thank goodness they're not got a train to catch.
The bench absolutely exploded down below. They were running on the pitch, they're whipping up the crowd. I can see a beer being tossed by the German supporters.
By the way, there should be a number of players booked here, a good number booked here. And Anthony, he's actually only booked one, right? I would say there was 7 German players that are not on the pitch just now, shouldn't be on the pitch, that ran onto the pitch. There should have been a whole bunch of them booked. He's managed to book one.
Yeah.
I don't know which one it was. He looks quite disappointed.
We'll try and bring you confirmation of that. But they always seem to find a way. 1-1. Wirtz with a goal in the 89th minute, and there will be 4 minutes of added on time which we're now going into on BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds. But Germany have got designs on winning it here in stoppage time. Fabian gets the ball away. Up towards Rodri. Rodri turns under pressure, has to pass it back to Unai Simon. The first opposition player to breach the Spanish defence. Ferran Torres collects it on this near side, gets away from Müller. Ferran Torres running forward, stumbles, falls to the floor, tries to get back up, overruns it and out for a goal kick.
I mean, it's a hard one to call, right? It's 1-1, it's been a tight match. Spain were the better side until they scored the goal. And since then, Germany, by some distance, have been the better side. And it's a hard one to call, but you've got to say, Germany are the ascendancy just now, by a long way. And if you're the Spanish, you're going to have to try and make some changes now. They've made one or two already. In fact, have they made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 already?
Yeah, they've used they will get an extra one in extra time. Schlotterbeck, by the way, was the player who was booked. So it's yet another yellow card, the 6th German yellow card in this quarter-final here in Stuttgart. Still to come. We've got that game between Portugal and France as Spain are on the attack. Cross from the left-hand side, cleared away by Andrić. There's a German player down at the moment as Spain win the ball through Rodri. It's not a head injury, they're entitled to play on. Oyarzabal tries to wriggle away from a challenge, gets a push, goes down just outside the area.
Ooh.
Referee Anthony Taylor says no foul. And now Germany try and break. They're quite happy to break now that the player Füllkrug is back on his feet. As Kroos took a tumble as well. It's all happening.
I saw that classic one where footballers get annoyed because they won't kick the ball out. They don't need to. It's not in the rules to kick the ball out. It's a referee's decision. Füllkrug will be absolutely fine. The Spanish were right to play on, but I think the Spanish should have got a free kick there, just about 20 yards out. They were very, very lucky, the Germans there. They were furious and got a little bit carried away. They could have given a free kick away 20 yards out, central, right in front of their own goal.
We had the pyrotechnics at the start. The game itself was certainly a slow burner in the first half, but now it should boil up rather nicely for this extra time period that is looming. As Wirtz, got the equaliser for Germany, goes in pursuit of the ball. Unai Simon there will get there first. By my watch, we've just got about 70 seconds remaining of this minimum of 4 to be added on, and it's 1-1 between Spain and Germany, the two best sides so far in this tournament, going at it head-to-head here in Stuttgart on 5 Live. Don't forget tomorrow, England-Switzerland, 5 o'clock commentary from Dusseldorf. As Ferran Torres bursts into the penalty area, Andrić falls, free kick to Germany. And Netherlands-Turkey will round off the last 8 action tomorrow night in Berlin.
Do you know what's really clever though, watching what Nagelsmann has done? You know, as soon as they scored the goal, they had the wildest, they almost 2-3-5, which was wild, but they were going for it. As soon as they scored the goal, they've managed to get back into a 4-2-3-1. And the two players, Musiala, who doesn't play there in the centre midfield, he's gone back there because they have to get another player back in the Andrić, have to go centre half alongside Rudiger. So the speed in which they're making these tactical changes and the cleverness of them, very impressive.
30 seconds remain. Müller, left-hand side. Müller with the cross, and the header from Nacho almost presented it towards Füllkrug. He's going to keep the ball in play on that far side, the right. He tried to bring it down at around waist height with his right boot. Kimmich with the cross. Müller is there, and Müller just steers it wide at the near post. Never scored in his entire career in the Euros. He went close there.
Honestly, the way it's going just now, Spain just have to get to extra time. They're hardly ever getting up the park at all just now. They've managed to get there, but by the skin of their teeth.
There is the end of the 90 minutes. Spain 1, Germany 1. Olmo giving Spain the lead after 51 minutes. But then Florian Wirtz with an equaliser in the 89th minute. We're going into extra time. For the time being, we'll hand you to Hamburg and Kelly Cates.
Thank you very much for that, Ian Dennis and Pat Nevin watching that game in Stuttgart for us. We are in Hamburg. We've got a big kick-off later on between Portugal and France. That one coming up at 8 o'clock. But Pat, this game, it felt like Spain were in control. They got the goal, and then there was a point where it felt like they were just trying to protect their lead. Was that the point that it started to slip away for them?
Maybe so, but here it looks like You know, they win the goal, they get the goal, they are the better team, they are controlling large parts, but not the entirety of the game, but large parts of the game. They score the goal, and it's just natural. You've seen it a million times. You fall back a little bit, but I have to say the Germans changed everything. They started making tactical changes, substitutions, taking more chances, more risk, more positive, more direct, getting balls into the box. Suddenly you've got Havertz is up there, Füllkrug is up there, Musiala is still on, Wirtz comes on. They're attacking from absolutely everywhere. Eventually, just go to this 2 and 3 at the back, and you're thinking that you will throw the kitchen sink at it, which they indeed did. But there's something else on top of it, Kelly. They just believe. They really just believe. They never feel as if they're out of it. And you can see that, you know, the Spanish team, their belief started sapping away as soon as they started getting overpowered. Now, very, very soon after they scored the goal. And I've got to say it's partly down to Nagelsmann, who's made such very, very good and very, very brave changes.
Yeah, Germany have been brave and it has paid off for them. They are level with Spain. They're heading into extra time. Pat Nevin talked about the noise inside the stadium in Stuttgart there. Actually, here in Hamburg, where it looks as though it's mostly France and Portugal supporters, there was huge noise as Germany equalised. Alistair Bruce Ball is going to be commentating on Portugal-France later. But Ali, just a word on the reaction to that Germany equaliser.
Yeah, I mean, clearly there are German fans inside this stadium as well. And I was trying to think, as to the Portugal and France fans, maybe they've got a leaning towards who they might, you know, fancy facing in the semi-finals. But I think plus just the drama of a late goal. Game has been shown entirely on the big screens at either end of this stadium, and the fans have been in here for ages, haven't they? They've been here to watch that entire game. So yeah, atmosphere's good.
Team news ahead of the 8 o'clock kickoff.
It's really nice and simple, actually. Roberto Martinez has gone with exactly the same Portugal starting 11 that squeaked through in the penalty shootout against Slovenia in the last 16. So Cristiano Ronaldo goes looking for that first goal at this tournament, captains the side and leads the line. 2 changes for France, 2 players getting their first starts at this tournament. 21-year-old Eduardo Camavinga of Real Madrid comes into the midfield. That's because Adrien Rabiot is suspended, and Randall Kolo Muani, who's made a few substitute appearances at this tournament to great effect in the last game against Belgium. It was his shot that was deflected in for the winner. He comes in for Marcus Thuram.
Let's check in at Wimbledon with Ian Carter.
Well, the first set went the way of Emma Raducanu against Maria Sakkari, the 9th seed from Greece. And it's Raducanu of Great Britain who's got the early break of serve in the second to open a 2-1 lead. She's having to work really hard to consolidate that break of serve, but she does have game point right now, Kelly. This is the best tennis this week that we've seen from Emma Raducanu since she won the US Open in 2021. And it's worth remembering that she beat Sakkari in the semi-finals at Flushing Meadows en route to that maiden Grand Slam title. Raducanu serves it out there. She does consolidate the break of serve. She now leads by 3-1 in the second set and by 1-0.
Thank you very much for that, Ian. Remember, we will have regular updates here on 5 Live Sport, but you can listen to full coverage of Wimbledon on 5 Sports Extra. Extra time about to get underway in Stuttgart. It finished Spain 1, Germany 1 after 90 minutes, taking you through the period of extra time. It's Pat Nevin and Ian Dennis.
Thank you, Kelly. Germany have made their 6th and final change, and it's the Stuttgart captain here in his home ground, Vladimir Anton, who's going to be coming on for just his 2nd appearance of these Euros. He was a substitute against Denmark, so he will slot in alongside Rudiger, and the player who's gone off is Kai Havertz.
Yeah, and they've just gone safe again, haven't they? Knowing that they can adapt to any time. They've actually, looks to me like they've gone almost a 3-4-3. Rudiger's going to be a right centre-back at this point in time. And that's what you get at the very top level. Adaptability, ask different questions, change the shape, and believing that players can do different things. When you ask them to do different things and confuse the opposition, I have to say Nagelsmann has done it more than Del Fuente.
Well, as the first period of extra time is underway, Germany in all white, playing from left to right here. Have Kimmich as a right back. Rudiger now has Anton alongside him. Mittelstadt, another substitute, as a left back. You've got Wirtz, Andrik, Kroos, Musiala, Müller and Füllkrug. Spain are attacking. Ferran Torres trying to get his head onto that. It's going to run off target and out for a goal kick. Spain have Simon in goal, Carvajal, Nacho, Laporte and Cucurella, Fabian Rodri, Olmo Moreno, Torres and Oyarzabal. So they, by my calculations, still have 2 substitutes who they can bring on if they so wish for Luis de la Fuente, their 63-year-old coach. But we're in extra time. 5 Live and BBC Sounds on a busy weekend that we're about to go into here of sporting action. Not just the Euros, Wimbledon, the British Grand Prix and that rugby union test tomorrow morning, but here is Fulcrook turning and running past the centre circle in the Spain half. Cross comes in from Wirtz, and Nacho is the one who has to turn it behind for a corner kick. Looked like there was a little bit of hesitation between him and Simon. Takes no chances.
Horrible position that Wirtz put that ball into, wasn't it? Defenders doesn't want to take any chances. Goalkeeper just can't quite come to it. He's actually, well, obviously he's done well. He scored since he came on, but Wirtz is a special player. He's had a really, really good season. Taken a lot of while to get involved in this game, but now he looks like he could be one of the most important players, if not the most important.
During the break for extra time, the third-choice goalkeeper Oliver Baumann was trying to stir up the Stuttgart crowd. Carvajal has gone to the floor in an off-the-ball incident, and he's being helped back up by Müller. Germany have a corner kick, 1-1, early in the first period of extra time here in Stuttgart. Corner kick then, far side the left. In it comes now. There is another coming together between Müller. On this occasion it was Nacho. There's a little slip. It is Kroos. Musiala passes the ball out towards the left-hand side. And then Wirtz able to turn, left corner of the area. Helped out by Musiala. Mittelstadt delivers the cross. Hasn't been dealt with. It went through 2 Spanish defenders. Flags up on this near side. It'll be a Spain free kick.
Yeah, but the Germans are actually smothering them. They just cannot get out, the Spanish. Now, when they had Morata up top, when the ball was coming up to him, he was holding it well. Nice little neat 1-2 passes, allowing his wide players to come on. But if you look at that forward line now, it's completely changed for the Spanish. There's Oyarzabal, Moreno and Torres are up front now, and that hasn't looked as dangerous as the previous 3.
Pat says that Germany is smothering Spain, certainly suffocating conditions here on a very humid evening. Cucurella has gone down off the ball with Wirtz. He's gone down with his head into the floor. Anthony Taylor has spotted it. The Spanish bench are all up in arms, and Wirtz is shown a yellow card. Yet another yellow card shown to a German player.
You wouldn't believe how many times Cucurella in this tournament has gone down holding his face. It's extraordinary the amount of times he's done it. And he's kind of run towards the player. He's kind of blocked him a little bit, but it's the way he throws himself down. It's infuriating.
That's the 10th yellow card in the game, 7 to the host nation. On 5 Live, here in extra time. Is the ball back by Laporte to Unai Simon, who's well out of his penalty area, almost to the edge of the centre circle. Chips it forward, headed on by Fabian. Moreno out towards Olmo. Cucurella ahead of him. Olmo tries to pass the ball forward to Oyarzabal, and it runs in a diagonal path out for a goal kick. 1-1. This has got the look of penalties.
No, I'm not diving in there yet. I'm definitely not diving in there yet. That was really neat, you know, from the Spanish. They've not been getting up the park that much in the last quarter of the game in normal time, but that was clever. I mean, he passed it well, and they're there again.
Oyarzabal gets the shot away, blocks. Anton digs it out with his shaven head. Here is Rodri, just touches the ball back. Laporte forward ball early to Cucurella. Cucurella to Olmo on this near side the left. Red shirts, navy shorts, playing from right to left as we look. Strokes it back to Cucurella. De La Fuente only lost 1 of 14 competitive games. Nagelsmann, who's yet to lose a competitive fixture since he took charge last September, has seen his side come from behind and score late, and that's the reason we're in this additional 30, as the ball is passed out by Fabian. And then Nacho. And Ferran Torres on that right-hand side has to go all the way back. They've lost that little sprinkling of stardust with Williams off the field, and Lamine Yamal as well, have Spain. All of a sudden it could be a case of Groundhog Day if you're a supporter of Spain. Their record against the host nations, as Fabian curls the ball out to Ferran Torres. level with the penalty area right hand side. Back with Carvajal, left-footed ball back towards Torres. Carvajal bombs on ahead of him and he finds him. He's got round the back here, but he couldn't then deliver the cross. Now he has, chips it in. Rudiger heads it away. Fabian, nice little touch off the top of his left foot. Just drifts out towards that far side. Germany try and wrestle the ball off him. Plays a cute ball inside towards Rodri. Spain keep the ball well under pressure. Nacho finds Moreno. Moreno along the ground. Olmo now left corner of the area. Carvajal on the overlap. Olmo goes for goal. Blocked. Comes out towards Rodri. Spain keep the ball well, Pat Nevin.
Yeah, best period that they've had since they actually scored their own goal. A little bit of belief coming back. Just that rest after the 90 minutes. Giving them a bit left, and certainly the manager said, look, you've got to hold the ball, you've got to get a foothold in this game. They've managed to do that at the start of this extra time.
They're slugging it out here in Stuttgart. Here is Olmo, couldn't thread the ball through, blocked by Rudiger. Olmo though reacts to get that loose ball back. Here is Olmo once again, back with Cucurella, midway through the Germany half. Germany got every white shirt back behind the ball. Laporte to Nacho inside the centre circle. Rodri gives it to Nacho, and now with Laporte to come forward. He'll carry the ball as far as he can. Little burst there from Laporte, then they lose the ball. Muller didn't really have anybody going too far ahead. There was only Füllkrug. They decide to keep the ball, and it's with Wirtz on the halfway line, and he finds Muller now. Muller challenged by Cucurella. It goes out of play for a Germany throw. They take it quickly. Muller with a throw, finds Wirtz. Wirtz with a cross from the right hand side, cleared away by Nacho. Downward header back by Laporte, and then Oyarzabal to Fabian. Moreno. More players have gone down. That was Kroos.
Kroos right at the start of the game. He leaves his body in to take a player out, and we thought he should have been booked. I wonder if that was not dissimilar, if it was a foot stamp. No, not dissimilar, but not as vicious as the one he did very early on in the game against Pedri. I think Kroos looks a wee bit tired out there, don't you?
Well,
he's wiped.
Lured out of international retirement in March after retiring when they lost to England in the last Euros 3 years ago. He will be bringing to an end a glittering career. Is there to be one final dance? He's back on his feet now as the 34-year-old. They've used all their substitutes, so he's got to see it through to the bitter end, or will it be a joyful conclusion here as we're still at 1-1 in this first period of extra time? And we have about 6 minutes to go in the break.
I think the changes that Nagelsmann has made for this part of the game was worked as well. You know, the negative ones have had a negative effect on his team so far. They've hardly got out of their own half. The Spanish have lifted a little bit. You can tell they believe in themselves a wee bit more, and it's absolutely, you can't call it now. Whereas at the start of this extra time, I thought the Germans were big favourites.
Wirtz with a forward ball. Muller gives chase. Cucurella alert, covers. Back it goes to Unai Simon. Clears it long, headed forward by Anton. There's hardly any breath inside this stadium, is there? There's no air at all. It's really sticky.
You can see the player sadness, can't you? You see a number of them. Rudiger particularly, he's got an injury, he's playing on with it. There's 3 or 4 around there that are of a certain age, it has to be said as well. They're feeling it. You can see Kroos is feeling it to some degree as well. But it doesn't matter, you have to keep on going. There are very few options left.
And the tension being cranked up as well. Carvajal could be shown a yellow card for handball here. Dani Carvajal will miss the semi-final. So all of a sudden, if Spain do go through, they've lost half of that back four that has really been quite a settled defence, with the exception of when they made the 10 changes against Albania, because Lenormand and Carvajal will both miss the semi-final in Munich.
Well, I was going to suggest he can't have a complaint, but remember, it's Dani Carvajal. Of course he's got a complaint, but he absolutely deserved that. He knew exactly what he was doing. Got his hand up, stopped the ball going through. He didn't want to chase back there. He's going to miss the next one if they get through.
Germany are attacking. Mittelstadt far side. Musiala infield to Wirtz. Musiala wants the return ball. He finds it. He darts towards the byline, pulls it back, beaten out at the near post by Simon. And then there's a little shrug, header away by Cucurella. Andrić has a swing at that with a right-footed volley on the edge of the area. Absolutely skied it. Goal kick, 1-1.
Simon has to be very, very careful there. He's going to try and collect a ball that was coming from a real distance, from a real height. It looked to me as if he certainly pushed somebody there, but was it a red or a white shirt that he's pushed? Actually, I'll give him his due. I think was it Fulkrug tried to get in front of him to make sure he couldn't get the ball. Talking about tired players,
Fabian is down at the moment. Is that a touch of cramp? Spain have still got two opportunities got two more players to potentially bring on.
I thought they only had one. Must have got that wrong.
They've brought on Nacho, Moreno, Olmo, Oyarzabal. They'll get the extra one in extra time.
Yossel is the one they're going to go for, I think. Maybe if they get half a chance, we shall see.
Talking about a story, born in Stuttgart, Joselu. Could it be a fairy tale for Joselu in his hometown? We've just seen Musiala, likewise born in Stuttgart, try and create some magic. But Fabian, who for me has been one of the standout players for Spain in this tournament, is going to be coming off. He turns to acknowledge the Spanish crowd away towards our right-hand side. Oyarzabal, I would imagine, will just drop a little bit deeper. But Joselu, 5 goals in his 12 appearances. Second appearance of this tournament. He did start against Albania. Joselu comes on. Made his international debut at the age of 32, just a couple of years ago. He scored within 2 minutes. He comes on for Spain. 1-1 in extra time. 5 Live and BBC Sounds. The first of the quarter-finals that you'll hear all on 5 Live and BBC Sounds over the weekend. In and around Wimbledon, our coverage. The Rugby Union Test first thing in the morning. England-Switzerland at Dusseldorf, 5 o'clock tomorrow. And the British Grand Prix on Sunday as well. As Andrick out of play. No foul, says Anthony Taylor. It'll be a Spain throw-in down below. We have about 2 minutes remaining of this first period of extra time.
Yeah, but I'm not sure that he would have chosen Joselu to come on just now. He has chosen, and I think it makes them look a little bit better, a bit stronger. They've got a focal point now up top there for if they have to play a long ball, they can play it to him. So this actually might work for the Spanish.
And Joselu is up there, and of course being marked by Rudiger as the shot comes in from distance. It was from Oyarzabal who hit it outside the penalty area, left-footed, and it whistled wide for a goal kick.
I'll tell you what, Neuer wasn't comfortable there, was he? He's scampering across his goal there. He must have seen it quite late as well, and it's just bounced before his hand. He wasn't getting to it because it bounced under him, and I think he'll be a very relieved man it went past that back post. But it shows you, this first period of extra time, totally unlike the 25 minutes before that, Spain will be the better side.
1-1. Neuer goes long. Rodri tries to throw Muller out of the way as the ball is tidied up by Laporte back to Unai Simon, who has a very good record when it comes to saving penalties in shootouts. Will it go that far? Pat thinks not. For the time being, at least. Musiala over the halfway line. Andrick coming forward for Germany. By my watch, we're inside the last 60 seconds of the first period of extra time. Pace has slowed down. Kroos passes the ball out towards Mittelstadt. The left back gets it back for Germany. Back in field to Kroos once again. Every outfield player in the half away towards our right-hand side. Rudiger tries to get away from Joselu. The two Real Madrid players shoulder to shoulder. Rudiger back with Anton. Germany's turn now to seal onto the ball. Rudiger passes the ball all the way back to Neuer.
Just looking at Rudiger there, I mean, he looked to me injured with about 10 minutes to go in normal time, but he's kept on going. And he was the player, if you remember, in the build-up to the equaliser. He was the one that took it to the right-hand side and got the first ball in. So he'll be happy.
Opportunity here, Muller. Wirtz! Oh, it was close. Hit it first time left-footed, but it was always going away from goal of that right-hand post. But that was almost an opportunity for Germany to take the lead.
Carbon copy of the Spanish goal. Almost exactly the same move. Coming from the other side, though. Passed towards the back post. And whereas Olmo was able to guide it in, and this time he wasn't able to do that. And a good move there for the Germans. Their best moment of these 15 minutes, and they've got 1 minute extra.
It's tense here in Stuttgart. Unai Simon, who's already been shown a yellow card for time wasting, in no real hurry. We're inside the 60 seconds of added on time. Andrik heads it away, repelled by the head of Laporte. Andrik then again climbs to head it further away, comes back. It's like head tennis at the moment, it won't come down, and then eventually it does, and there's a big up and under from Rudiger. That was no nonsense from Rudiger. That was a clearance that Peter Kay would be proud of. Have it. Out of play, goes for a throw. End of the extra time, first period, 1-1.
Yeah, and it's I would say well done Spain. Got himself back in. They were clinging on. Obviously they lost a goal very, very late on in the game. Psychologically it's a hard one to take. They were under all sorts of pressure. They couldn't get out of their own half. They had the break, and suddenly they come back a lot stronger. Held the ball really well, and they were the better team for 15 minutes there without, destroying the Germans. And you wonder at this point in time, I mean, I don't think it's impossible there are penalties, obviously. Just thought there might be more chances. Who would you think would want the penalties more? You would imagine the Germans are quite comfortable. They've had the bad times as well. But the Spanish record with penalties isn't brilliant, is it?
No, it's not. Will we get there? We'll find out in about 15 minutes' time. Kelly.
Thank you very much to Ian Dennis and Pat Nevin. Back very shortly. Emma Raducanu is in action at Wimbledon. Ian Carter's watching.
And she's one game away from a second appearance in her career in the fourth round at Wimbledon. That break of serve early in the second set has been consolidated. She leads it against Maria Sakkari, the 9th seed from Greece, by 5-3. So Sakkari serving to stay in Wimbledon, and she's currently at love 30, Kelly. So things looking very encouraging for Emma Raducanu.
Ian Carter's going to keep us up to date with everything that happens there, and remember that there is full coverage of Wimbledon on Sports Extra. Our commentary matches here on 5 Live Sport this evening and all the way through from this afternoon. First of all, in Stuttgart, we're going to head back for penalties very shortly in the game between Spain and Germany, and then from 8 o'clock it's commentary of France against Portugal. The match that's being billed as Mbappe against Ronaldo, but which one will come out on top? Let's head back to Stuttgart now with Pat Nevin and Ian Dennis.
Pat, by the way, you were right. They have actually used 6, the Spanish.
I kind of thought that because I was looking at players thinking, well, you can't get injured now, and if you've got injured, you need to stay on the pitch. And there's so many tired players out there just now that it would be no surprise in these last 15 minutes of play that somebody will basically be hobbling. You'll have to stick them up front and just say, be a nuisance. But at the moment, there are 11 fittish players left on either side and no substitute options left.
So both teams have used their full entitlement as the second period of extra time is underway. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds here in Stuttgart, where this first quarter-final at the Euros has gone to extra time. And if there's not to be another goal in the next quarter of an hour, we'll have a penalty shootout. As Musiala over the halfway line runs from Moreno. Forward ball to Wirtz. Muller's forward ball, full crook off the chest, tries to turn with his back to goal, pulls it back. Musiala, they appeal for handball. There were strong penalty appeals there by Germany, so much so that when the ball then bounced to the edge of the area, none of them went to strike it. They all just shouted at Anthony Taylor from Musiala's effort.
He's going to give that. That's a stick on. Earlier on, Cucurella was very, very fortunate for me to get away with one. His hand is low, but it's out to the side. Wow, he's not giving it.
He's not giving it.
Are you surprised with that?
I didn't think it was deliberate handball.
No, it's not deliberate.
But when you look at some of the decisions that have been given by UEFA, when it normally strikes the hand, as here is Muller. Muller, edge of the area, Andrik back out towards the left-hand side. Stuart Atwell was on VAR. Musiala's shot saved by Simon. But as you said, it was low down,
but it was out from his body, and they'll say that's not an unnatural position, all that sort of stuff, right? But it was quite far out from his body, and it was maybe heading towards the goal. Maybe that's what it came down to. If it's not heading towards the goal, if it was heading just wide, as a shot on, not on target, maybe that made the decision for him. But that was a big call.
Well, certainly, here is Cucurella. Bit of escape maybe for Spain. 2 minutes into this second period of extra time, still at 1-1. Rodri passes the ball to Laporte. This is Moreno coming onto it on the left-hand side. Cucurella waits, level with the penalty area. Olmo tries to get away from Andrić, drops his shoulder, accelerates, passes the ball forward. Cross comes in from the left, Rudiger on the stretch, prevents it from reaching Joselu behind for a corner kick, 1-1.
It's a very Tony Rudiger last-ditch tackle, isn't it? He's on the ground. If he doesn't get it, it's probably a goal there. It's passed through. There's also is he going in the back? Yeah, he's going in the back there. He might have gotten the end of it, but it's still a corner kick. Still an opportunity, Spain. Can't call this one. 2
Spanish flags fly high behind that goal as Spain have a corner kick far side the left. In it comes now, it's deep, headed back by Laporte, cleared by Germany to Musiala, able to turn. He's only got Wirtz ahead of him, he finds him, and Musiala now is joining the attack. Cucurella has to get back, Wirtz running at the heart of the Spain defence. Musiala wants it to feet, Wirtz is going alone, he pulls it back, this is Füllkrug, left-footed, shoots wide off target, goal kick, 1-1.
By the way, I've talked a few times about Cucurella. He was brilliant there, absolutely brilliant. The amount of the pace he showed to get back, and he didn't dive in, he just held up players as much as possible, held up Wirtz. And he goes to Füllkrug, there's still a half a chance there, but by that time they'd got the players back, and we all know that Füllkrug, he can hit a ball.
Hasn't Wirtz had much more of an impact than Leroy Sané?
Yeah, absolutely, but then sometimes if you're a wide player, it's easier to come on the second half. Referees, what's he doing just now? He's having a word.
There's another ball behind the goal, so it's got to be cleared. That's the new one I see him on a favour, because he was taking his time yet again. He's already on a yellow card, let's not forget.
Yeah, we're talking about Wirtz. When you come on of your second half, there's probably more space than the first half, so it's kind of harder for the wide attacking players, but yeah, in short, he's done far more than Sané.
Downfield it goes. Rudiger should tidy this one up. Back towards his goalkeeper, Manuel Neuer. Had to really dig that out as he fell backwards. Got a lot of lift on it. Müller gets in a bit of a tangle with Rodri. They're appealing for a yellow card, and they get one. Rodri, who has already been actually suspended. He missed the Albania game, not that he would have played because they made so many changes, but he gets yet another yellow card in this tournament. He knew exactly what he was doing.
I think we've all seen that one before from Rodri. When he knows he's not going to get back, he's calculated it all in his mind. Not on a yellow card yet, just put up with it, take the yellow.
Rudiger with a free kick, still 1-1 in Stuttgart, goes long, Füllkrug, downward header, directs it to the feet of Musiala. Musiala hits this bobbly ball towards Müller. Müller's cross is deep from the left-hand side. Cucurella is going to be closed down by Kimmich. They go into a thunderous challenge. Kimmich really did catch Cucurella, shoulder to shoulder, and Cucurella is lying flat on his back.
And this time Cucurella has actually been hit in the head. And it was a sore one. I mean, to be honest, the referee should have a little look at that one again. He would argue it was a 50-50 he's going on for, but he was catapulted there. Oh. I think that's a horrendous tackle. I think Kimmich knows exactly what he's doing there. He's wiped the player out. He's not even going for the ball. If he's got the ball, he's got it with his arm.
Not quite Schumacher against Battiston all those years ago in the 82 World Cup.
Yeah, it's that sort of thing. To be fair, it's a tough call for the referee. He's had a lot of hard calls today, you've got to say that. There's a lot of pressure on, there's been a lot of extreme tackles in there, a lot of clever players playing out there as well.
Let's go.
That one was tough.
Let's go back to Wimbledon. Ian Carter.
Emma Raducanu is through to the last 16. She's won in straight sets against the 9th seed Maria Sakkari, 6-2, 6-3. Only the second time in her career she's beaten top 10 opposition, and for the second time in her career, Raducanu through to the last 16.
Wimbledon's coverage continues on Sports Extra. Spain are attacking. Oyarzabal, man over on this near side level. The area is Ferran Torres. Torres with a cross. It hangs in the air. Rudiger heads it up. Headed further away by Kimmich. Still at 1-1. We've been playing for 7 minutes of this second period of extra time. Penalties looming. Germany, though, with a quick throw. Müller, Füllkrug had come short, and he goes long. The move breaks down.
They've just got a little bit more energy back again. They can feel it. There are a few players out there. They should have kicked it out there, the Germans. Kroos is on the ground. They're down to 10 men.
Oyarzabal, edge of the area. Oyarzabal with a shot, left-footed, always off target. He gets a little shove there by Andrić. Rudiger also has a word. Wasn't a head injury. He's more than entitled to play on.
I have no idea why some players think that they are that important that the game should stop because they've got a little injury. You can't go down for that. It's not a major injury. It may well be cramp. In fact, it is only cramp. So why are you expecting the game to be stopped? It's a nonsense. I was talking about before, I thought, you know, everybody using all the substitutes that somebody might end up having to basically go and goal hang. Well, it could well be Tony Kroos, because that sort of level of cramp there, right at the end of the game, we shall see if he's capable of carrying. Well, he has to carry on. There's no choice.
Kroos is getting treatment for cramp. They're not permitted to use any more substitutes at this stage. He's got to just battle on, Tony Kroos, if he wishes to add to his 33 trophies that he's picked up during his career. But we're halfway through the second period of extra time, and we could be going the whole hog.
I was just watching that penalty shout against Cucurella again, but they've not shown us a good enough angle from behind the goal. If you see it from behind the goal, if it hits his hand and it's going towards goal, you'd expect him to give a penalty kick there. They've not shown a good enough angle to tell that yet.
Meanwhile, Germany have had another player booked, but it's another substitute. Schlotterbeck was booked earlier, but Brighton's Dennis Undav has been shown a yellow card for speaking out of turn to referee Anthony Taylor. So Undav has been booked.
Get the calculator out for the bookings. So many of them.
13. Clearance from Neuer. That would have been a record in the history of the European Championships had it not been for that contest between the Czech Republic and Turkey, where a combination of 19 cards, 17 yellows and 2 reds, was shown earlier on in the competition. Cucurella gets it out to the left-hand side. This is with Olmo on that far side, tries to turn away from Andrić. Joselu has come short, created a space for Marino to run into. That was a sharp turn by Olmo, goes to ground, gets himself back to his feet. Olmo passes the ball, edge of the area, Kroos is there, Kimmich. Clearance wasn't the best by Kimmich, and Spain have got it back with Olmo over on that far side yet again. Moreno with his short dark hair, waits, Olmo still keeping it tight between themselves, very congested. Olmo was told to get to his feet as he was sent tumbling. Back it goes to Neuer, closed down by 2 Spanish players, sweeps it long. Füllkrug climbs in the air, goes over his head, and the ball is tidied up at the back all the way to Unai Simon.
I see what Olmo's trying to do just now. And again, Füllkrug allegedly off the ball. Slightly too many players going down too easily now, which is a bit infuriating. Again, it's a tough one for the referee. They're coming together, but is it as bad as the players are suggesting it is? Probably not most of the time.
It has been feisty, hasn't it?
Yeah, and understandably. I mean, the great thing is everyone's still on the pitch. There's nobody been sent off yet, so that's been managed to some degree as well. But to be honest, I've watched that now, and see if you could do it by replays. I'd actually booked Nacho immediately for that, because he's basically cheated. He's deliberately slowed down, thrown himself in the way of Füllkrug, then laying down on the ground as if he's badly injured. It's an absolute nonsense.
Well, he went down from Wirtz, who was running behind him. Wirtz, who actually
wasn't Füllkrug. Wasn't Füllkrug.
He's on a yellow card as well, so had Anthony Taylor taken action, he would have been off. I mean, it is surprising, isn't it? 13 yellows and we haven't had the red.
Exactly, and I'm really happy Anthony Taylor didn't panic there and do that. And by the way, he's at it again, Nacho.
4 minutes remain in extra time. Otherwise, we've got the drama of a penalty shootout. 1-1. Kimmich's forward ball. Good save by Unai Simon. Füllkrug did ever so well to get something on it, diving forward, and Unai Simon away to his right made the save.
There's so little space for Füllkrug, but he always seems to get in front, and he gets a little nick there, a brilliant little header. Not quite enough power on it there, but he's had 2 great opportunities this game. Once he's hit the post, second time goalkeeper's been equal to it.
Now Nacho has gone down onto his haunches in that challenge with Füllkrug. Simon is instructed by his coach Luis de la Fuente to put the ball out of play. He's back down on his haunches again, is Nacho, but the Germans aren't happy. They think this is time wasting.
Well, he was wasting everybody's time when he went down before, I'm just not sure about it this time. He's holding an odd position, as if he's pulled something in his thigh or just above his knee. There's no choice, mate. You either go off the pitch or you carry on.
Is it worth remembering that statistic of Spain never beating a host nation at a major tournament, and in each of their last 3 they've been drawn and they've been eliminated on penalties? Russia in the last 16 in 2018 World Cup, South Korea in the World Cup in 2002, and who in England at least will ever forget England at Euro 96, the quarter-finals, even for those who have 11% of English heritage. As the ball is cleared away downfield by Simon, but we're 1-1 and we're edging ever closer as it goes through towards Neuer. And Germany, who've won all 6 penalty shootouts at their major tournament since losing to that Panenka chip in the Euro final of 1976, as the host nation.
As we get close now, you mentioned Panenka. Is anyone going to be brave enough on a shootout? I think I know. I think somebody will. I've got a fair idea who it'll be.
Are you willing to divulge your hunch?
Carvajal. He's just got that about him. He really has. He's one of them. Hey, if I certainly think if Havertz had been on the pitch, he might have been tempted by it too, because he's got that sort of bravery.
Well, Carvajal, who scored the decisive penalty when Spain won the Nations League against Croatia, is on the ball here now on this near side, the right. Still 1-1, 5 Live and BBC Sounds. We've got 60 seconds remaining. Cucurella passes the ball out wide. Cross comes in from the left. Moreno with a header! Moreno inside the 6-yard area with a knockout blow, surely. And Spain finally will have banished the hoodoo against the host nation. Right at the end, they lead by 2-1. Mikel Moreno, what a header!
We just didn't see it coming because both teams looked like they had nothing left. They were just beginning to play out the end of the game. But they get the ball on the left-hand side there. Kimmich does not get close enough, and he managed to get that ball into the centre there. But the amount of time that he's got, there is nobody within yards of him. Rudiger, who's probably the best defender marker that you've got in this championship, absolutely nowhere near them. That may well be part of the due to a little injury, but the ball was put in and he had acres of space. Beautiful little head there into the back corner, and well, they can't see him coming back from that, can you?
He climbed high, his upper body twisted, he directed it to the right of Manuel Neuer, and with 3 minutes of added on time in extra time, Spain might finally at the 10th attempt have beaten a host nation at a major tournament. Meanwhile, there's something gone on behind the crowd, because Anthony Taylor has been directed towards the Spanish bench, who's been shown a yellow card. Fabian has been shown a yellow card, celebrating as a substitute. So Fabian has been shown a yellow. But the Spanish bench aren't happy with something that has occurred behind, in that little section of support behind them.
It's kind of weird though, because that's their own players. I mean, I'm sure Yatabal doesn't give a stuff at this point in time. You know, he made himself a complete and utter hero just now.
Play is back underway. Spain lead by 2-1. And the crowd in Stuttgart, if you're not of Spanish persuasion, has been silenced. Joselu back, heads it away, cleared by Ferran Torres. 3 minutes of additional time.
3 minutes is the madness that was going on, you couldn't tell. At some point, you wouldn't be surprised now if they go and just lob one into the middle and get another half chance, the Germans now. Must be a temptation if they get a corner kick for Neuer to come up as well.
De La Fuente is having to marshal his own substitutes, telling them to get back. Ball forward, up towards Musiala, prods it, edge of the area. Kimmich with a shot, blocked by the legs of Laporte, still inside the penalty area. Hook goalwards, headed away, and then hook clear by Oyarzabal. Still, maybe the drama isn't over here on 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Spain lead by 2-1. Now they can counter-attack. Ferran Torres is away. Torres into the penalty area. Torres to finish it. He's put it wide. Didn't even, in fact, go wide. They were ready to celebrate. They were all off the bench down below.
It's absolute mayhem now. You've got Rudiger up centre forward now. They've got to go for the Hail Mary ball. They've done it before. They've done it with Füllkrug already in this competition. They need to put one in there.
Ball goes long. Füllkrug is up there. Edge of the area. Oyarzabal clatters it away. By my watch, we're inside the last 40 seconds. Almost collected it far side the left. He'll surely keep hold of the ball. He runs into the penalty area and he goes straight towards Neuer. Why didn't he go to the corner flag?
I can tell you why. It's because he's pulled his hamstring. He can't run.
Germany meanwhile attack. Wirtz far side the right, looking for a dramatic equaliser. Wirtz, who took us into extra time in the 89th minute to make it 1-1. Germany passed the ball out towards the right. Cross comes in. Füllkrug with a header, plants it wide. That was the moment.
I thought they would get a chance. I was absolutely convinced they would get a chance. That is a good chance. Now, he's in front of the goal, but Füllkrug is as good as anyone there. And the referee is walking up towards goalkeeper. What's he doing? I mean, 3 Spanish players went down there claiming cramp. Referee's ignoring them as much as he possibly can. I think he should ignore them completely.
The Spanish bench down below are ready to celebrate to a man. Every single one of them down there in that technical area, lining up, willing referee Anthony Taylor to blow his whistle. However, Dani Olmo has made it to the edge of the centre circle and he's still gone down with cramp, so there is a further delay. By my watch, we're now into the 4th minute. We had a minimum of 3. Morata embraces an official down below. They're ready to celebrate our Spain. They're leading by 2-1. Unai Simon goes long, gets plenty of distance. Andrić wins the challenge. Free kick to Spain. That's not what Germany wanted. It's the Spanish supporters who celebrate. That surely is it.
That's a big call there from the referee, because it doesn't seem to be a huge amount in that. Germany got the ball back again. They were going to launch another attack, but they're not going to get a chance to do that now. Spain are killing every single second. Every time the ball goes out, somebody goes down. I'm not going to say feigning injury, but saying that they've got cramp, saying there's something wrong, just trying to kill these last few seconds left.
Mikel Moreno, he won the under-19 Euros, the under-21 Euros under Luis de la Fuente, and he's kept up his target of claiming a hat-trick, because Spain are moments away from a place in the semi-finals. They thought that was it. The substitutes are already running on the pitch to celebrate, and the 4th official has said get back on off the field, because Germany have got one last chance. Musiala, Carvajal takes him down by the neck. Carvajal's already been booked. Carvajal will be sent off here, and there is the red from Anthony Taylor. Carvajal with a desperate bit of action. There's a shrug from Carvajal.
It is one of those moments. He knows he's never getting back. He's done it before, and as he's done it, I think he's realised, I've blown it now. I'm going off. Is he taking one for the team? Has he just not got any energy and threw himself? Definitely needs to go off. Right thing to do. And Germany have yet another last chance.
A second yellow card. The first had ruled him out of the semi-final anyway. Carvajal was left with no choice. He trudges off. Spain are down to 10. Late drama.
He doesn't trudge off. He's still not off the pitch yet.
The 4th official says please leave the field of play. But this free kick now for Germany, it's now or never. We had 3 minutes a minimum of added on time.
Neuer's up.
We're now into the 7th. In it comes, claimed by Simon, and he stays down, and the referee Anthony Taylor blows the full-time whistle. And Germany, the host nation, are out. The first host nation to be ever eliminated at the quarter-final stage, and Spain progress by 2-1 after extra time.
I mean, extraordinary, and so much was happening at the end. So many exhausted players. I don't know who deserved to win that game. It was really tight. I don't think they could have managed penalty kicks in, and they were so exhausted. The one group of players, or 2 groups of players that will be very happy with this game is the ones that are following this one, because there are so many exhausted players, there's so many injured players, there are going to be so many suspended players from these 2 teams there. But Spain have managed, by hook or by crook, to get through, and Germany, after what's been a very good competition for them, are going out. and I do feel sorry for him because he gave it a right good go today.
So late drama with the sending off of Carvajal, and also with Moreno's winning goal in the 119th minute as the Spanish supporters celebrate in Stuttgart. They've knocked out Germany by 2-1. Kelly.
Ian Dennis and Pat Nevin in Stuttgart for that game. Pat, it was a slow burner, but when it caught fire, it really caught fire.
It did. It was incredible. And you had no idea where it was going to go at the end. You talk about tactics and changes and all the systems, they all happen, and they were happening every 30 seconds in this game. But after a while it became much more human than that. It just became who was going to be least exhausted at the end, who was going to switch off for that second. And in the end it turned out to be the Germans. A simple ball into the middle from the left hand side, header at the near post, and I do feel sorry for the Germans because they've been great hosts of this tournament. They have improved as it's come along. They were the better team and looked at the end of that 90 minutes as if they were just going to cruise ahead in this. But well done, Spain. They came back. They're not just a pretty team. They've got some amount of grit as well, and they showed it today. Problem is they've got grit, but they've also got a whole bunch of players missing for the semi-finals. They're going to find it very hard to get through whoever they meet when they get there.
They have spent every last bit of energy on this victory against Germany in Stuttgart today, as have Pat Nevin and Ian Dennis. But Deno, I hope you've got something in the tank because you're off to Berlin for Turkey against Netherlands tomorrow. I will see you there, but for now, to both of you, thank you very much.